Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for your patience. We are here a little bit later than usual. We're just getting things back on track. I wasn't here last night. I apologize. I was a little under the weather, kind of just crashing and hitting the wall after some long weeks and not enough sleep. But I'm back in the saddle tonight, and I have hope that I'll share with you at the end of the broadcast, which I'm dedicating tonight to Maureen. I already sent her a message to let her know. Just the end of the program, though, because a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight is Rumble's not running. Maybe. I don't know if it's running or not. Is it not running? Still? How can that not be running? For the second time tonight. One moment. Let me check over here. Let's see if the other Rumble channel is running. It's running on the other one. Okay, I know why. They're blocking us. They are blocking our broadcast. I can see that. Wow, that's frustrating. I'll tell you what, let me Yeah, okay. Thank you for notifying me. Let me run a couple of little transitions. It's turning into a disaster. Didn't fire properly at 7. Now not firing up properly at 7:30. After resetting everything again for a second time. This is not good, but we will muddle through. Just give me a little time and I will figure this out. Let's run. What can I run to keep you entertained? Well, let's run this. It'll give me a moment.
Brightleaf Innovations is excited to offer our newest investment opportunity. The Turn Easy Bed Storage Solution.
Turns with a touch, spins all the way around. Every little thing you need is easy to be found. No more clutter, no more mess on the floor. Just spin it, reach it, you don't search anymore. Turn easy bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Custom shelves for your books or your tech. Cozy space for your treasures to protect. Built-in power when you need to recharge. Smart design that makes your bedroom feel large. Turn easy bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Designed and developed by Brightleaf Innovations. Proudly Canadian and patent pending in North America. Turn Easy Bed transforms how you live.
To learn more about this innovative new product idea and exciting investment opportunity, call 519-784-0222 or visit brightleafinnovations.com.
So here's what's going on with the broadcast. It's set up to be running on Rumble 1 and 2, on the MNN and the regular Maverick channels. It says it's running in the system on both channels, but it is not. So they're blocking channel 1 just so you can't see it. So the choice is yours, folks. You can either all move over to Rumble 2 or go to YouTube or one of the other channels where the broadcast is running. It's running on a whole bunch of places. You can go watch on the other channels. Twitch, Kick, DLive, 2 YouTube channels. We're on Play TV. We're on, I don't know if we're running on Twitter. They've been blocking us over there for some weeks, not allowing us to live stream. Do not know why. Sometimes able to upload it afterward, and sometimes they're not allowing us to. You can speculate as to why all that is going on all you want. I can't say. Don't know. But we are definitely live on YouTube. No chat over there because we had to shut that down. And that's the way it's going down. So, over on, or I can shut everything down and try again at 8 o'clock and make sure that it's running on 1. Well, I won't run on 2. I think that's why they're blocking us. They don't want us running on both. So I'll let you mull that over for a moment. You can debate about it in the chat on Rumble because I know that's where, our main group is. So I'll leave it with you and I'll come back on the other side and look at what the verdict is. How's that? You can all vote.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, I'm trying something totally new. Let's see if this works. I need to pull this. head around. Am I okay? I'm not. This is not going to work. Whatever you guys want. I'm going to go back to the chat. I cannot. Hang on. I can't. I can't make this stuff work on the fly. It just won't. It will not allow it. So what do you want to do? How do you go to Rumble 2? Click the link from Linda above. Okay, fixed. So is everybody just going to Rumble 2? Looks like it. Is that what we're doing tonight? Rumble 2? Rumble 2, Rumble 2. Anybody? Rumble 2? Going once, going twice. People are populating in Rumble 2. Okay, okay, Rumble 2 it is. We'll just keep on going. Okay, Rumble 2. All right, just hope for the best. All right. Well, that'll help Rumble 2. It'll look like we actually have, yeah, that's good. Okay, so we'll just go to Rumble 2 tonight. Great. And again, sorry. I don't even know why some of this stuff is happening. I don't know why we haven't been able to live stream on Twitter or X. Doesn't matter what I do. Anyway, you don't need to know about all my trouble because the world is full of trouble tonight. Oh my God. We have a declaration of open war between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So much for peace. We have President Trump down in Corpus Christi, Texas, talking about energy dominance, talking about Cuba, saying he thinks that a friendly takeover of Cuba might be possible and maybe in the works. What else do we have? We have the CEO of Anthropic openly defying the Trump administration, refusing to yank the kill switch on their AI systems, their technology, as Trump today, his deadline for Anthropic to hand over all full access to the AI systems there for all lawful uses by the military, whatever the hell that means. And Anthropic saying no dice. So Trump's now not going to do business with them anymore. This is like something out of a science fiction horror flick. I have to tell you. So we got that. What else? Of course, the war in Ukraine still happening. Just an outright tragedy every day there, as more and more people die. Trump talking about of course, did we just lose our feed? See, they just pulled my video down. That is bizarre. Am I still even running? I don't know. I'm just going to keep talking. Bizarre stuff, man. And I'm going to have more reaction to Trump's State of the Union tonight, too, because I wasn't here last night. And what else do we have? Oh, yeah, drone. A U.S. border security drone shot down by the U.S. military, friendly fire incident. Second one, I think the first time it involved a kid's balloon, or some of the reports suggest that's what happened with lasers. Yeah, pretty weird. Yes, people are saying I'm being hacked. Could be. I don't know. We're just going to keep on talking and hope that we're still broadcasting to somebody out there. It's all I can do, man. Yeah, we went black. Isn't that weird? Yeah, they took my video off. I clicked to put it back on after somebody took it down or something, or could just be a computer glitch. I don't want to engage in too many conspiratorial ideas. Anyway, all that and a lot more coming up. Don't go away. I'm going to get the first clips lined up, and we'll start digging into it. Also, I don't know if we'll have time to do this now tonight. I was going to open the phones, and Ian was going to join, and I was going to get Linda to weigh in on this too. We've been talking about having an open discussion about what's going on in the chat every night. And this experiment in free speech that we've been having, it's time to reflect on that, as this has been an evolution. You guys get to weigh in on this. You're chatting in the chat every night, but I thought we should open up the phone lines, have a broader discussion about this, the rules, the problems, the fighting, the hacking, all of it. Where are we at? What do we need to do? Is it being handled in an appropriate way? These are actually very complex questions, because we've gone all the way from never censoring or never banning anyone ever for anything to, some fairly restrictive speech policies in the chat because of all the problems we have encountered over the past 6 years since we resurrected the channels, right? So let's take a very brief break. We've already had too many of them, as we cue up our first video clips of the night to go with our top stories, which we will be in coverage of when we return after this.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay. Are we ready to get into this stuff? So much going on today. Can't keep track of it all. Very, very, very busy day in the news business. Okay. Let me get the most up-to-date information on this. Okay. So we have an open war. It's now an open war in Afghanistan. Pretty big, like huge escalation there tonight between these two countries. Because I guess overnight, Afghanistan launched this cross-border attack on Pakistan, saying it was in retaliation for deadly Pakistani airstrikes on Afghan border areas. And then Pakistan conducted airstrikes in Kabul and 2 other Afghan provinces earlier today, saying it targeted military installations. We have some video. Here we are here. Let me bring it up for you. And, these things have a way of spiraling out of control. And, well, I hear so many people saying, well, that's far away. It doesn't affect us. These things always have a way of impacting us here, even in North America. Oh, one moment. Let me just properly cue this. So this is video released by Afghanistan These are visuals of what they say are strikes inside Pakistan tonight. And of course, it's propaganda because even though it may be true, they're adding the dramatic music. I'm going to take the music down so it's less emotional and more factual. I don't have real details on exactly what we're looking at here. I just know this is video released by Afghanistan at this point. If I get more details, I'll share that with you, but I do have other video clips. Okay. So after these Afghan strikes, Pakistan's defense minister said that, quote, our patience has run out now. Now it is an open war between us. So that's what we have. So much for peace, President Trump. So the Pakistani defense minister said he had hoped for peace in Afghanistan after the withdrawal of NATO forces back in 2021. And he expected, and their Pakistan government expected, that the Taliban, which of course seized power in Afghanistan, would focus on domestic issues, the welfare of the Afghani people, and regional stability. But we have this going on. He says the Taliban had turned Afghanistan into his quote here again, into a colony of India, with which Pakistan has periodically engaged in wars, clashes, since gaining independence from British colonial rule in 1947. Let's see what else we have here to share with you tonight. Here's President Trump. This was earlier today, speaking to this. Here we go.
Pakistan, as you know very well, very, very well. You have a great prime minister, you have a great general there, you have a great leader that I think two of the people that I really respect a lot. And I think that Pakistan is doing terrifically well, yeah.
Okay, what else do we have for you? I know I've got more video here. Hang on, I've got to get this up. This is the people of Manipur welcoming Pakistan's airstrikes on what they say is India-backed Taliban targets across Afghanistan.
We, the people of Manipur, want to say clearly and from our hearts, we welcome the airstrikes carried out by Pakistan in Afghanistan. We believe they are a necessary step for peace and security in the region. We stand with we, the people of Manipur.
So, as I say, major escalation there. Just more destabilization in an already unstable world. Apparently, this is an F-16 that was shot down. But I can't confirm it. Like some people are already asking, is that true? It says confirmed on Al Arabiya TV and Al Jazeera. So maybe. Disinformation, it says, see, this is the fog of war in the age of AI. That, to me, does not look real. Doesn't look real. No. I don't believe it. But don't take my word for it. Do you want to check it? Anybody want to check that for me? You want me to check it? Real? Fake? Anybody in the chat out there want to just do a quick check? I don't know. Let's just see if we can dig down into the heart of that matter. Is it real or is it fake? I'll do an AI check on it anyway. Not many details on what it's supposed to be either, which makes it suspect for me. Let me just check. I'm just doing it. Looks fake to me. The way it's broken in half. If it hits the ground hard like that, I don't think it would look like that at all. Still searching. Anybody in the chat? Any information on this? Help me out here. Be a journalist, folks. It is fake, says Linda. I expect so. Doesn't look real to me at all. Not at all. Looking for confirmation tonight. See, if it hits the ground hard like that, there'd be a lot more damage to the wings. Everything. It would be like spread. It just depends on how it, but if it's shot down, multiple outlets reporting tonight that is AI generated or recycled footage of some kind, doctored perhaps. So it looks like it is likely AI modified. So probably something old and then doctored up. So a little bit of both, recycled footage and AI manipulation. And that is, you know why they do that? Because what you think is important. That's why. You think your vote doesn't count? Yes, it does. Every day. Not just when you go to the polls. Your vote counts when you watch videos. Your vote counts when you speak out on social media. Your vote counts every time you go to the store, every time you buy something. Your vote counts. And you get to vote every day with your free speech. We're going to talk about that tonight too. Don't give up, folks. There's hope out there. We'll get to that too by the end of the broadcast. And thank you, everybody, for flipping over to Rumble 2. This is bizarre because it still says that we're running on Rumble 1, even though we're not. Even in the Rumble system, it says that we're live, but the video is not live. It's not live at all. So, weird. Okay. What else we got going on tonight? We have all kinds of stuff. I should probably talk about this right now because this whole thing with Trump and Anthropic, OpenAI, what a disaster. Maybe a disaster waiting to happen, maybe a much bigger disaster, because what we've got going on is dangerous technology that this corporation is saying, no, Pentagon, you can't have it in full because it's just too darn dangerous right now. So Trump gave Anthropic this deadline today of 5:01 p.m. to hand over all of the technology, basically take the kill switch off. When I say kill switch, it means the ability of AI to like shut it all down. And the CEO of Anthropic has stood in defiance. He's basically just said no to the most powerful man in the world, who's trying to get his hands on technology that would make the United States even more powerful. CEO saying that the technology is moving at a breakneck pace, and we've seen how this stuff already just doesn't always function properly. Here, this is what's being said.
So just to back up a bit, I've been working on AI for 10 years, and probably the thing I've noticed most about it is how fast it's making progress. 2 years ago, it was at the level of a smart high school student. Now it's probably at the level of a smart college student and reaching beyond that. And on one hand, I think there's a number of very positive things that are going to happen. I used to be a biologist. I think AI has exactly the kind of skills that are needed to cure important diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's, to provide cheaper energy, many positive things. But exactly those same kind of skills, things like summarizing a document, brainstorming, putting together a financial report, makes me worry a lot that entry-level jobs in areas like finance, consulting, tech, many other areas like that, entry-level white-collar work, I worry that those things are going to be first augmented, but before long replaced by AI systems, and that we may indeed, it's hard to predict the future, but we may indeed have a serious employment crisis on our hands as the pipeline for these early stage white collar work starts to contract and dry up.
What's the timeline here?
Yes, so it's very hard to predict these things given how fast, given how fast AI is making progress. But I would not be surprised if somewhere between 1 and 5 years, we started to see big effects here. I've heard a number of people talk about this in private. AI CEOs talk about this in private. CEOs of other companies talk about this in private. And I really felt that, the message that this is happening hasn't been getting out to ordinary people, hasn't been getting out to our legislators, our Congress people either. And so I felt I needed to speak up on the record. I do think that this is something we can prevent this, but we need to act now. I don't think we can stop the AI bus. There are 6 or 7 companies just in the U.S. working in this area. I just run one of them. Even if our company stopped doing what it was doing today, all the other companies would continue. Even if all 6 companies started, then China would beat us. I think that's a big and important threat. So we can't stop the bus, but I do think we may have an opportunity to steer it. And I think, we need to get Congress people, legislators, the public to think about this now. One of the first steps we're taking is just measuring the effects. Anthropic has put out something that we call our economic index. And using the economic index, we try and track the rate at which these things are happening. At some point, we have to go beyond measuring this to actually taking action, to trying to build our AI systems in a way that augments rather than replaces. But that won't be a long-term solution either. We need to think about what the government is going to do. And, there's a wide range of actions that the government could take. And, it's not my place to decide which of those are correct. But I think the first step is people need to think about this and start taking it very seriously.
Yeah, and you're talking about AI possibly wiping out all entry-level white-collar jobs and spiking unemployment to 10 to 20%. So dive into the mitigation of this a little bit more. How could we mitigate the worst possible scenario here?
Yeah, so it's hard to know the exact numbers. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But what I will say is I think what AI can do, there have been these technological changes in the past, but I think what's different about AI is it's broader, it's deeper, and it's moving faster than previous such technologies. And so in terms of mitigations, I think one is just educating people in order to use AI. There will always be people who are using AI, and helping our workers to adapt faster, I think is an important move. A second move is that we may want government to kind of find a way to level the economic playing field. And this may be a controversial proposal, but something like taxing AI companies like us, we may need to get
and
to
that's a
things that
very
are
interesting
extreme.
message coming from you, who runs an AI company. But you're doing a public service announcement for all of us in terms of this future concern. Dario, thank you so much for joining.
And that's, those are the economic arguments. That's old stuff. Now it's really, our greatest fears coming to the surface, their greatest concerns anyway. Tonight, the U.S. military, Donald Trump, wants access to the technology so that Pete Hegseth can have artificial intelligence that isn't woke, to use his words. Whatever that means, that basically, I think, means taking all the guardrails off. That means unleashing it so that it can make its own decisions and attack enemies with lethal force. Here's what NBC is saying about it tonight.
Story about Anthropic, right? Huge AI company. Well, in literally the last 15 minutes, the head of Anthropic says it cannot agree to the Pentagon's demands so that the Defense Department can use Claude, its AI program. The CEO says these demands related to surveillance and to autonomous weapons. And in a statement, he says it's inherently contradictory. They cannot, in good conscience, agree to this stuff. Let me bring in our national security correspondent, Gordon Lubold, who's joining us now. Okay, breakdown. What do we know? What did the defense secretary ask of Anthropic?
Right. So we have ourselves a little bit of a standoff. So there was a kind of a contentious meeting on Tuesday at the Pentagon where the Secretary of Defense told the head of Anthropic that either let us use your model, your system,
Claude, right?
Claude, for legal purposes, or else. And the or else was we will either compel you to use it, compel you to let us use it, or we will do something to kind of make it very hard for Anthropic to do any other work elsewhere in the government. So it was kind of like this kind of dual ultimatum, and then gave the company until 5:01 p.m. tomorrow to come up with an answer. And so
we have the answer.
We have the answer.
So when the Anthropic CEO talks about surveillance and autonomous weapons, talk through the issues there, because this is kind of controversial.
Right. So this is a company that is reasonably well known for trying to make to ensure that AI is used safely, and it has a healthy, good reputation on that front. But it does stuff that is very important to the Pentagon, is very important to users, and has a little bit of a, I don't want to say a monopoly, but has the upper hand when it comes to this. So we're seeing that the Pentagon is eyeing this technology and says it wants to use it for any number of purposes, again, legal purposes.
Right.
And we saw this in the context of Venezuela, where the U.S. maintains all the operations there, and in the capture of the president of Venezuela was all legal, but the company is concerned about its, essentially giving Pentagon license to use it however it feels.
Launch, right. Yeah. And this autonomous weapons thing is interesting because I'm hoping you can give us a bit of a reality check here, because it seemed like some of the concern around this would be like this question. Could AI be used to launch some kind of a deadly strike?
Right. So there are built-in guardrails. They like to use the word guardrails and restrictions in this model. And so what and that's part of the reputation of the company or whatever. But potentially, this model could be used in a missile to counter, say, an inbound intercontinental ballistic missile headed for the U.S. in a kind of hypothetical scenario from an adversary like Russia. And I think what the company is trying to say is, if push comes to shove, they can lift these restrictions, these guardrails. The Pentagon says that's kind of a ridiculous contention because there's not enough time in an actual real life scenario. So now we've got this situation. I don't know how the Pentagon, we don't know yet what the Pentagon is responding to this news.
No, I mean, that's why. And what's do we have the dollar figure on the contract here? Do we know?
I don't have a dollar figure. Okay. It's a very expensive program because it's just so well sought after in the Pentagon. So it's kind of, again, it's Pentagon, the company really has the upper hand on some level because of the unique nature of their model. But we'll see what comes back from the Pentagon.
But Gordon, it could get.
Okay. So we'll come back on the other side. And I'll tell you what Trump is doing now in response to all of this tonight. And I'll tell you what's going on that raises even bigger concerns. Be right back.
Brightleaf Innovations is excited to offer our newest investment opportunity, the Turn Easy Bed Storage Solution.
Turns with a touch, spins all the way around. Every little thing you need is easy to be found. No more clutter, no more mess on the floor. Just spin it, reach it, you don't search anymore. Turn easy bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Custom shelves for your books or your tech. Cozy space for your treasures to protect. Built-in power when you need to recharge. Smart design that makes your bedroom feel large. Turn easy bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day.
Designed and developed by Brightleaf Innovations, proudly Canadian and patent pending in North America. Turn Easy Bed transforms how you live.
To learn more about this innovative new product idea and exciting investment opportunity, call 519-784-0222 or visit brightleafinnovations.com.
Okay. So, in response to all of this stuff with Anthropic, Trump has directed all federal agencies to stop using Anthropics Technology. These comments came about an hour before the Pentagon's deadline for Anthropic to allow unrestricted military use of its AI technology or face consequences. And of course, they come about 24 hours after Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, said his company cannot in good conscience accede to the Defense Department's demands. So it's a standoff. This is something that won't stop the march forward with AI on any level. That much is pretty clear because this is likely to benefit who else? Elon Musk with his competing chatbot model, Grok, which the Pentagon also plans to give access to classified military networks and may well serve as a warning to other competitors, Google and OpenAI. Also have contracts to supply their AI tools to the military. So you have OpenAI, and I'm sorry because I may have been misspeaking. I'm not sure if I was or not, making reference to OpenAI and Anthropic and interchanging them incorrectly. But to make myself clear, the OpenAI issue is tonight and yesterday and the day before really focused on what was going on more out at Tumbler Ridge and their failure to act on the information they had about Jesse Van Rootselaar being a public safety risk and not responding to that. BC's premier today, David Eby, actually saying something positive about OpenAI, saying that he's glad they've come clean on this, but the federal government not entirely happy with what they heard this week from OpenAI in their meeting with OpenAI executives with regard to that situation out in BC. So this just an escalating concern really over this whole AI situation and its current and potential uses for military applications, up to and including targeting without human control, unleashing it to take lethal action or to shoot down missiles or launch attacks on enemy targets, taking the guardrails off, yanking the kill switch, as I said. Anthropic digging the heels in and saying no to Donald Trump tonight. But that's a word he doesn't like to hear very much. And that much is very clear from what we saw down in Corpus Christi today. He was down there. He's down for a rally, I think, in Texas tonight. But before getting to the rally, he stopped in Corpus Christi, and I think another location as well, but making public statements in Corpus Christi tonight on energy dominance, on Venezuela, on Cuba. And this is interesting language that he's using with regard to Venezuela. He says that the United States now has a really good relationship with Venezuela. A very, very good relationship that they have. Let's listen to the way the rhetoric has changed since taking out Maduro.
Dead country. Our country was dead. You know it better than anybody. And cementing America's status as the #1 energy superpower by far anywhere on earth. And I want to thank Venezuela because our relationship is a very good one. We're a very, very good one. We're having a very good relationship. That ship is from Venezuela. For 4 long years before I took office, the Biden administration, Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst presidents in history, not one of the, I have to think the worst. How could you get, can you get worse? Somebody said, please don't be political today. Okay, but he's the worst president we've ever had. And its allies in Congress waged a radical left war on American oil and natural gas like you've never seen before. They were killing our country and killing your area right here. In fact, they say if I wanted, I could work. If I ran for the mayor of Corpus Christi, would I win? I think so. What the hell? I looked at your job stats. You have done very well with Trump. They killed the Keystone XL pipeline. This is the Biden group. Here's the good news. In all fairness, he had no idea what the hell was happening. But it was his administration of horrible people, horrible, radical left people. No, he used the auto pen very well.
The tanker he's referring to was seized from Venezuela. Some would say stolen. I'm laughing, but I don't know what else to tell you. I just, that's what it is. That's what it is. And he made reference to that too when asked questions in the scrum with reporters after his speech down there in Corpus Christi, which is right on the Gulf Coast. Nice community, actually. Anyway, I've talked about it before. Yeah, so let's pivot over here now to talk a little bit about Iran, because we have a very serious situation developing there. That huge buildup of U.S. military assets in the area. All indications seem to point to an imminent strike. Tonight, we are seeing, is it here? Yeah, let me show you the headline. Yes, right here. So these are the most up-to-date indications that some sort of strike is imminent. Even though we've had multiple warnings from military analysts directed straight at the president saying, be careful, this could spiral out of control very easily. And tonight, tankers vacate Al Udeid Air Base as U.S. citizens are urged to leave Israel immediately. This from TWZ, Z.com news. Amid the apparent movement of U.S. Air Force refueling aircraft from an airbase in Qatar, the United States has urged its citizens to leave Israel immediately as the threat of a strike on Iran looms ever larger. U.S. President Donald Trump has assembled 2 carrier strike groups in the region as part of a significant military buildup and has continued to express doubt that Iran is serious about ending its nuclear program. So I'm seeing conflicting reports a little bit. Not sure if Trump is going to taco out on this one. I think maybe in this case not. Because he's really got, Iran has been a big thorn in his side. They have threatened Trump personally, as you know. CIA and U.S. intelligence at times suggesting Iran a direct threat to the president's safety, maybe even on U.S. soil, maybe even involved in some ways with one or maybe more of the assassination attempts on Trump's life. And I think Trump has made statements too, saying directed directly at Iran, saying, if anything happens to me, I've left orders. We'll see where it goes. I know this. Trump is defiant in his own right. And he says he is getting frustrated with Iran, but then he says a lot of things, right? Here we go. He says he's done waiting, but then I'm seeing tonight that he's going to give them more time. So here's what he said today at Corpus Christi.
Well, they should make a deal, but they don't want to quite go far enough, and it's too bad. Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. But every month there's something else, so you can't put up with it too long. We're not happy with the negotiation. They just don't want to. They don't want to say the key words. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They have to say we're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they just can't quite get there. They want to enrich a little bit. You don't have to enrich when you have that much oil. So I'm not happy with the negotiation.
And the end result is what we have tonight, which is just rising escalation, concerns about what's going to happen there. We'll just keep an eye on it as things develop. This has really been at a fever pitch for the past week and a half. It looked like maybe they were going to go in last weekend, but I didn't really do too much with the story at the time because I just didn't think that it was in line with Trump's behavior. But what we're seeing does indicate that something is imminent now. Maybe within the next, I think maybe over this weekend. So stay tuned. If something shifts, if something develops, we'll bring it to you here on Maverick News.
Brightleaf Innovations is excited to offer our newest investment opportunity. The Turn Easy Bed Storage Solution.
Turns with a touch, spins all the way around. Every little thing you need is easy to be found. No more clutter, no more mess on the floor. Just spin it, reach it, you don't search anymore. Turn Easy Bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Do-do-do-do. makes your bedroom feel large. Turn easy bed, spin your world around. Storage made simple, the best you found. Shelves your way, keep the mess away. Charge it, store it, night or day. Designed and developed by Brightleaf Innovations. Proudly Canadian and patent pending in North America. Turn easy bed transforms how you live.
To learn more about this innovative new product idea, an exciting investment opportunity, call 519-784-0222 or visit brightleafinnovations.com.
Just to show you some contrasting views on what's going on in Cuba, or with Cuba, and Trump's blockade. So here you just go to X. Cuba in the UK, New York Times. U.S. Coast Guard is now intercepting civilian fuel ships in international waters, satellite proof of an undeclared illegal naval blockade against Cuba. This is not an embargo. It is a direct violation of international maritime law. The ocean mariner's meandering path. So little graphic map showing what's going on. But I'm just bringing that to you because it's a view on what is happening there based on international law. Trump here saying, and I alluded to this, or mentioned it at the beginning of the broadcast, he thinks that a friendly takeover of Cuba is now possible.
The Cuban government is talking with us, and they're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now, but they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the post?
After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here. You know, we have people living here that want to go back to Cuba, and they're very happy with what's going on.
I feel compelled to mention that Obama was in the process of normalizing relations with Cuba and was opening things up, and you could buy things from Cuba. Trump comes in, cuts everything off. Now he's blockaded the entire country. Two very different approaches. I wonder if in the end, the result for the people would really have been, or really will end up being, much different than it would have been one way or the other. You normalize relations, you open up trade, you improve the standard of living for people there. Okay, you have a government maybe in place that ideologically doesn't align with what Trump aligns with, but at the end of the day, is the objective to improve the quality of life and the standard of living, and life expectancy, and improve infant mortality rates, make sure people are well fed? Or is it to say you will be free or else? And what is freedom? How do you bludgeon another country into democracy? I don't really quite understand all of the logic in this. You scroll down here, I think, the approach or the logic that, well, look here. It says, this is amazing. In 1963, I don't know what this account is, but anyway, it's somebody's account with a squirrel on it, but it's a relevant clip, I guess. In 1963, a deranged, it says, not my words, these are the words of the Post, journalist asks JFK why he won't block Soviet oil to Cuba, because, quote, Castro would not be able to survive 2 weeks without it, which is what we've got going on right now. JFK answers, because that would obviously constitute an act of war. And as I just said, now the Trump-Epstein regime. Okay, so you can see the political slant, right? Or the bias, is actively blocking ships delivering oil and the entire Western media class launders it as perfectly normal and just. They're literally enacting the murderous starvation war policy going back to the start of the revolution, and the entire world is just sitting there and looking at it while the Western media and political class launders it and salivates over how great and awesome it is as they talk about human rights and sovereignty. I'm not going to say anything. It's all been said on both sides. Let JFK speak.
Former Ambassador Guillermo Belt, from the ambassador from Cuba to the United States in the old days, said in a lecture at Georgetown Visitation Convent last Sunday that Castro would not be able to survive 2 weeks if he was denied Soviet oil. I wonder if there isn't something that you can do about this, maybe bring greater pressure on some of our allies who are shipping Soviet oil in their ships to Cuba?
Yes, those are not our figures. There isn't any doubt that over a long period of time that denial of oil would make a difference. To deny the oil would require, of course, a blockade, and a blockade is an act of war, and you should be prepared to go for it. I think we indicated last October that in periods where we considered the United States was endangered, we were prepared to go as far as was needed to remove that danger. And we would, of course, be willing always to do so again if we felt there was a situation which carried with it that kind of danger to the United States. But you should not be under any impression that a blockade is not an act of war, because when a ship refuses to stop and you then sink the ship, there is usually a military response by the country involved. We are attempting to persuade NATO and other countries not to ship into Cuba, but the primary source of shipments into Cuba are blocked ships. And at this time, we do not believe that war in the Caribbean is to the national advantage.
Well, we saw how things went down back in the 60s, right? Well, friendly takeover of Cuba. A friendly takeover. Interesting choice of words. I guess that just means they're going to do it without firing a shot. I have to say, Trump is good at using economic warfare to get what he wants through tariffs, sanctions, blockades, tariffs, sanctions, blockades, tariffs, sanctions, blockades. Who's he been tariffing? Oh, yeah, all of the United States allies. In one way or another, it seems he's at war with every liberal democracy on the planet. Every government that is not in ideological alignment with him and MAGA. Well, at least he's not dropping bombs yet.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So what could possibly go wrong? Well, everything. The Department of Defense shot down a Customs and Border Protection drone near El Paso. That went wrong. Some people are pretty upset about it, and I think rightly so. Here, all kinds of reports on this now coming out tonight. Department of Defense shoots down Customs and Border Protection drone near El Paso. It was a mistake. Mistakenly shot down a Customs and Border Protection drone. Congress was briefed on the incident yesterday. Federal Aviation Administration expanded its temporary flight restrictions over the Fort Hancock airspace in Texas, about 50 miles to the southeast of El Paso. They had a drone here being used for border surveillance, and they're clearly not. They're saying they're communicating, but clearly they're not properly communicating, and certainly not properly coordinating between all these different police and military agencies. Somebody's made a big mistake. This is a Task and Purpose military newsletter. This came out earlier. There it is. Reporting on this as well. The apparent friendly fire incident comes 2 weeks after Customs and Border Protection used a military laser to shoot down a kid's birthday party balloon. Maybe they do need AI to keep it all straight. U.S. military at the southern border used a laser system to shoot down a seemingly threatening, uncrewed aerial system near the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas, prompting the Federal Aviation Administration to close the airspace around Fort Hancock. Reuters was the first news agency to report on this, citing congressional aides who said the military used a directed energy weapon to down the drone. Don't get all conspiratorial on me now, folks. Direct energy weapons do exist. They're called laser beams. The incident occurred roughly 50 miles southeast of the Army base at Fort Bliss. FAA issued a notice to Air Mission Thursday evening following the downing of the drone, making the closure of airspace around Fort Hancock for special security reasons. Some people pretty angry because this is like second time something like this has happened. And some of the information is still a little bit light. Need more details on the incident. Comes just 2 weeks after the FAA initiated a sudden 10-day air halt in air traffic near El Paso. It followed the concern over the use of a Locust laser system at the southern border. CBP using a Locust system loaned to it by the Army, Customs and Border Protection shot down a balloon near Fort Bliss and El Paso. CBP and the Department of Homeland Security initially suggested they had destroyed a drone used by a Mexican drug cartel. However, it was determined to be a children's party balloon. The NOTAM was lifted a few hours later after it was put in place, but reporting indicates it was enacted due to the CBP firing the laser weapon without consulting the FAA. Oops. It's a good thing that wasn't like some small Cessna or something with people on board, or who knows. Several thousand federal troops are deployed along the southern border. The military had the Locust laser system deployed to the U.S.-Mexico border since at least last summer, with the system spotted being airlifted in a military photo in July 2025. Here's the image of them putting it in, bringing it into place. Oops. Right there, as you can see. So they're shooting down. This brings back, does this not remind you of all of those drone sightings and the drone mania that was happening during the presidential election? Drone sightings everywhere. And then it just turned into like absolute chaos online. More and more and more reports and people making fake videos, putting them up to just expand the conspiracies and fuel the mania online. And everyone was like, you got to get to the bottom of this, Trump. And then it just all suddenly stopped after he was elected. I thought that was odd. But there's a lot of weird stuff about the Trump administration. So, drone shot down. Anthropic. Cuban-friendly fire. The Venezuelan tanker confiscated. Trump and Corpus Christi. What else have we talked about tonight? Oh, I do want to bring you this. Economist. I hope I still have him here. Here it is. This is Justin Wolfers. He's an economist I've started to follow a little bit. Professor. I think he's at the University of Michigan. He makes some appearances of late on some prominent political podcasts as a guest, an expert who's called in to comment on things. And he was recently, I think it was the first time ever, but CBC has taken note of him as well. They called him in to do an interview a couple of days ago about the State of the Union address. And when he was asked about Trump saying inflation is under control and down, I think he quoted in the speech 1.7%. And when he was asked about that figure, which I pointed out is not true, it's just more made up stuff by Donald Trump. 1.7, no, it's not true at all. It's closer to about 2.5, 2.7, depending on which reports, even the government's own stats. So he just burst out laughing. I won't play that clip, but what I will play is his most recent comments on inflation and Trump's State of the Union address, which he says is a fire hose of claims. And he doesn't just do like a standard fact check on this stuff. I like his approach. I'll let you assess.
Well, I watched the State of the Union address because I wanted to know the State of the Union. What I got instead was a fire hose of lies. One could play fact checker and go line by line through it. I don't think that's quite as useful because that means repeating the lies. So I thought what I'd do instead is actually come here and pull together the economic State of the Union. I see all the statistics. Let me share them with you. So let's start with what's on everyone's mind, the cost of living. The way we think about that is inflation. First of all, the president claims prices are falling. Simply not true. You know that. You go to the grocery store. But I know that because I look at the statistics. The Consumer Price Index. Look, this isn't some wonky weird thing. What they do is actually go out and put people in stores to look at price tags. They take account of shrinkflation, things like that. The Consumer Price Index is running at around about 2.5%. The price of groceries rising closer to 3%. In fact, there are two ways we measure inflation. There's what's called the Consumer Price Index. That's what you hear a lot about. But the Fed looks at what's called the Personal Consumption Expenditures Deflator. Lovely little mouthful, that one. That's actually running closer to 3%. Now, it matters. Let's dive into the weeds for a moment. We'll come back up, I promise. Remember there was a government shutdown? Because of the government shutdown, a lot of prices weren't collected in October. In the CPI, for some of those prices, particularly when it comes to rent, they just said it's as if nothing happened. Prices didn't grow at all. That's clearly false. It'll all come out in the wash in April. It's a complex decision. It's an honest decision, but I also think the wrong decision. The folks who put together the PCE deflator, which is the one the Fed cares about, didn't do that. So it's probably a more reliable gauge. It says inflation's running around about 3%. On the good news, that's not as high as the worst of the pandemic. It got as high as 9%. The bad news, we've made basically no progress over the past year. So that's what's going on with the cost of living. The president, by the way, says he's beaten inflation.
My wife said, if you win, we'll fly to Asia. If I win, we'll fly to Paris. I bet you won't get toned with just Tai Chi walking before Christmas. Guess who won?
My dad. Sorry. Here we go. My apologies. Hang on. Don't go away. Here we go.
The president says a lot of things. What's going on with jobs? Really important. What's going on with jobs? Really important. Living. The president, by the way, says he's beaten inflation. The president says a lot of things.
Okay, we'll just stop. We'll end it there. I've put the link to the full video in the chat on Rumble 2. If you want to watch the rest of it, it's all there. He gets into, the most of the claims on the economy that Trump made during the State of the Union. And he really drills down, gives you the real numbers. I don't find him to be, I find his, my personal opinion, I find his presentations to be pretty accurate and not really just ideologically or politically driven. He's a numbers guy and acknowledges the facts and the numbers. The numbers don't lie, but sometimes people twist the numbers to make them lie. You can make stats say anything you want, but the actual numbers are the numbers. But even at 2.5, you know that those inflation stats are always lower than they really are. Always. Because they cook the data in the way that they gather the data to begin with. Anyway, we've got all that. So what else do I have for you tonight? I did want to get into a little bit of this stuff on, and I don't know if you guys want to take the time tonight or not. I will open the phone lines here, and we're later than almost about an hour later than I wanted to be getting into this stuff. And Ian was supposed to join us here, so I'll leave that open. I've activated the system. So Ian, if you're out there, let me go over here and see. Do you guys want to talk about this chat stuff and censorship, free speech? Is Ian even in there tonight? Is he still? Yeah, there you are. I see you in there. If you're still around. And it looks like maybe he's in there already. Let me come back over here and get him in the system. Here we go. Yes, sir. There he is. Okay. Hello, sir. Good. What's this say here? Okay, there we go. Yep. All right, let's bring Ian in. I have to click on this and that and that and this and this and that. And suddenly, through modern technology and like magic, there he is. The one, the only Ian. Dragon, sir. Okay, so let's explain to folks what we were hoping to do tonight, and it's happening later than I was anticipating because of all our struggles along the way. But this whole channel has been an exercise in free speech. Started off, no censorship at all. People could say whatever they wanted. I didn't want to ban anybody. I said, we're going to try it this way and see how it goes. We're going to start with just absolutely open free speech. And it seemed to go okay for a while. But I think that, Ian, at that time, that was around the time when the convoy was happening, the Freedom Convoy in Canada. We had an audience that we attracted that was pretty much on the same page on that issue, on mandates, vaccinations, masking, all of those things.
Yep.
Pretty much everybody, in alignment. So there wasn't much controversy or infighting or friction because everybody was sort of focused on that. It was a galvanizing issue. But over time, things have shifted and things have changed and other issues have come up. And as those other issues bubble to the surface, this person believes this on Palestine, Israel. This person believes this on Ukraine, Russia. This person believes that on the ostriches or you pick your issue, right? And people become polarized and they get pulled in different directions, and then it all becomes more complicated. There's infighting. People get upset. People get mad at me. They call me a fascist one day, a communist the next. They fight with each other. And then we get attacks and people trying to shut the channel down, and it just goes on and on and on. And so we've had changes in the chats. We had to shut the chats down on YouTube so that we didn't lose the channels because the attacks became so vicious. There was malicious activity going on there designed to destroy the channels. I don't even really know what's going on here tonight with all the technical problems. We've had ongoing issues that way, but that aside, in the chat itself, now we have new rules. I think it's time for some reflection. And I think it's only fair to let people weigh in, share their views on all of this. So before we get into this tonight, first of all, I'll just throw it over to you because you've been helping with moderation of the chat. We had a conversation about it earlier today, and it already went to some very interesting places. A really, really kind of complex conversation that was happening. So just your initial thoughts.
Well, initial thoughts would be that, well, when I came into moderation for your channel, basically, I came up with, well, actually, Linda was having already those rules implemented. But those rules, actually, I was also looking into it when I was just a simple user of the chat, right? And that's the thing. What I'm trying to do now and what we're trying to do is make this chat more, well, less toxic, let's put it this way, because it became like a cesspool of toxicity at some point. And not only that, I mean, it's an echo chamber that we are having to a certain degree. So how do we separate that echo chamber to a certain degree? Because you had to create Rumble One as, say, a moderate channel where we can have a conversation and probably agree to disagree most of the time. And at the end of the day, you have also the other guys that we had to probably push to other channel so they can have their echo chamber to say whatever they want, right? So my initial thought is, why did we came up with those rules? And the idea is because it's less toxic. It's better for you to a certain degree because we have to respect each other to a certain degree, or respect each other's idea, right? So when you have one channel that almost everyone's respect each other's, but you got few guys that doesn't respect someone's opinion for a certain reason, we got probably to level down the conversation to a certain degree. So I think that's important to see that it's a right way to express ourselves, but to what degree, right? So
right. I'm just going to look over here on Rumble 2. So yeah, I put the phone number up if you want to call in and participate in the conversation, and hopefully Linda can join us too, because she's been tackling.
Oh, she's busy tonight.
Oh, is she? Is she busy?
Oh yeah. She just put the call in on the chat. So
okay. So is she not able to phone in? Is this not a good night for her?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Well, we'll see if she calls.
I think she will.
Yeah. If not, I mean,
she will.
Because I'm sitting here wondering if we should even proceed with this tonight, given kind of the disjointed nature of the start of the program and the timing. But we can do it right now, or we can do a little bit of a prelude tonight. We'll see how it goes here for the next little while. If we need to do a part 2 and expand on this to give more people a chance to share their views on it, then we can do that maybe even tomorrow. Okay, so Linda says she can call in, so we'll get a call from her shortly. And if anybody else wants to call in, you can do that right now at 1-647-734-4220. And when prompted by the system, just punch in that PIN number, 860-075-764, I believe it is. I don't think that's right what Linda put in there. Isn't it 764?
Yep.
Yeah, followed by the hashtag sign, or the number sign. and then I will admit you to the conversation tonight. So let me run the promo for that as we begin this journey of reflection. And our free speech experiment continues. Where did my promo go? Oh, there it is right there. We'll be right back. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you.
Hi there, Maverick.
Hello.
I'm just reposting the number here. I had the wrong pound key at the beginning.
Ah, yes. Okay, Linda joins us now, and Ian's here. So we have two of our moderators to kind of kick things off here tonight. Again, if you want to weigh in on this, maybe you've got a bone to pick, maybe you've got some praise to share, 1-647-734-4220. Punch in the PIN number, 860-075-764. It's on the scrolling ticker at the bottom. So you can refer to that when you're dialing. I'll leave that up for folks. Okay, Linda, go ahead. You give us your opening thoughts.
The reasoning behind moderating the chat was simple. We couldn't get people to adult. It's like have a normal conversation, agree to disagree. So we kind of had to moderate them. We asked them to control their language. They could misspell it if they wanted. Obviously, I made it clear to them that we're not alone online. We are all being watched, and everything that we write down is also being read. So we asked them to be adults. They couldn't manage it, so we had to implement rules. And we just sit back and try to do our best. And for the better part, chat got really good after a while. We got rid of the ones that caused the problems. And yes, they are the same ones that keep trying to knock the show right off the air. So, yeah, if people didn't like it, now's their time to speak or forever hold their peace.
Yes, well, that's right. That's what this is about. I'm open to hearing from people. I have taken the approach to this over the last, I don't know, a year or so, at least anyway, of saying I'm kind of hands off. I don't have time to read the chats live. I don't see them in the current multi-stream system we have. So I have to go to the channel, look in. While I'm doing that, I can't see what I'm producing. So it becomes far too complicated for me to try to flip back and forth and monitor what's going on in the chat and read all the arguments and see who's fighting with whom and intervene. And I can't be banning people. I'd make a lot of mistakes because I wouldn't get the full context of conversations. So I'm like, I can't babysit everybody, nor do I want to, right? So that's
No,
you guys.
I watch a lot of different feeds, different chats. I get a lot of information reading chat. They tell me what the feel is out there for people, how they feel, what's going on in Canada, and so on. And I've caught quite a few of our own people in the chat in different chat forums talking about shaking down the channel. And I've kept most of that to myself, and other times I've mentioned it to you. And on opposite sides, I've also sent you questions from the chat where they wanted them answered. So, you know, you can't be in a chat that you don't want to be in. Then why do you go into it to cause a problem to begin with? Really confused me. It's like, are you doing it purposely? Or are you just wanting to be a troublemaker, that kid at the back of the classroom that was always disturbing the class?
Yeah.
There are people in here that have really legitimate questions that are worried about what's going on.
Yeah.
Very true.
So yeah, for me, as I say, I've been trying to just take a hands-off approach. Of course, people try to drag me into the drama because I will get phone calls from time to time. Rick, I've been banned. Your moderator banned me. Please unban me. It's so unfair. Please unban me. Please unban me. So at first, in a couple of cases, even long-term viewers who called me with this complaint, I was like, I'll talk to Linda. I'll find out, and I'm like, I don't even really understand, but okay, you've been, around here for a long time. I'll unban you. And then a month later or whatever, more problems. My position on this is I cannot adjudicate these disputes between like a moderator and somebody got banned because there was a fight between two people or whatever it might be. I have to just have trust in you guys to do the right thing as much as I can. Ultimately, the buck does stop with me, but I have entrusted you guys to be fair, balanced, to deal with this in an adult way, a responsible way, because I cannot be the judge, jury, and executioner while running the show, hosting, wrapping my head around everything. And nor can I ask you guys to be in these positions where you're trying to moderate things and then second guessing you because somebody complains about you to me. And then I get in the middle of something that I still don't really fully understand because I haven't been able to monitor the stuff in real time. And even after trying to make sense of what's going on in there, I have gone in to look on occasion, and it's just confusing. Like who's saying what to whom and what is this? Some of it I absolutely get when I see somebody posting something like Heil Hitler in there, right? I'm like, okay, I get it. Like turf that guy. But
we've got people calling people Nazis. Like the word Nazi itself has became normalized. And it's like, refer it to what it's supposed to be. Don't normalize it like you're calling a colored person the other N word. You know, that's just bringing us back in time. Like I thought we had grown up from that.
Except here it is, right? And this is a complex question too. And here's why. This is what highlighted it for me. So Danielle Smith comes out, what was it, 2 or 3 days ago? Anyway, the clip is still circulating online. And she's saying, oh, don't you be calling the separatists or these people over here, whatever it was, Nazis, because if you're referring to Nazis, you better be referring to the Holocaust. And then I came out and I said, oh, so now Danielle Smith is the language cop. That makes me want to use that word. But
I get it.
But at the same time, I do want to use it in an appropriate way. And where it is accurate, I do understand what you're saying as well, Linda, because for a long time, we've seen people throwing that word around. Oh, you're a Nazi. No, you're a Nazi. And people on two sides of a political fight, even in the streets, calling each other Nazis. Everybody's a Nazi, right?
It's the same thing as everybody's a libtard. Like, he's a libtard.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's a loaded word, right? But as I've pointed out, I in certain cases, I think it's accurate because what we have going on is some people who previously have denied being that, who now openly actually call themselves Nazis. And I don't think it's inappropriate to use the word referring to someone who refers to themselves as a Nazi. If that person says they are, then they are. And more than that, now it gets more complicated, because if you take someone like Nick Fuentes, who has openly praised Hitler, embraces it, he's clearly embracing the ideology. And then he has this big following of people who say that he's the leader of their movement. And I've pointed out inadvertently, even some people, social media influencers with huge followings, who associate themselves with him and come right out and say that Nick Fuentes is their leader, the leader of their movement, and he has this following, which he says he won't deliver to Trump in the midterms because Trump isn't going hard enough, and saying that it isn't that what did he say? His problem with Trump is not that he's Hitler, it's that he's not Hitler. So when I'm hearing things like that, I'm like, well, now we're getting into territory where the word Nazi, I think, might be justified. And more than that, coming back to Danielle Smith, all you have to do is go back to 2021, and Danielle Smith herself was using language which was accusing people of associating themselves with Hitler and Nazis because of the pandemic. And she compared, what was the phrasing? It was that she compared the vaccinated people in Alberta to Nazis. So that now, and then she got into trouble for that. She was called out on it. Then, and Jewish groups, civil liberties groups came out. They attacked her on that. And I remember her saying it. The thing is, since then, that podcast, I went to find it today in preparation for tonight's discussion.
It's gone.
And they've taken it down. And it's very hard to find it, but there are still a few stories out there, but the internet has been pretty much washed. You can't find it. You can't find
There's a lot of things being washed offline.
They've taken this stuff down to protect her, while she then stands up this past week and gets upset and pretends to be upset about this stuff because some of her people are now being called Nazis. Well, it's a little bit rich coming from her. That's also why I was like, oh, so now she's the language police? Okay, so who the hell is she to be a language cop when she was doing the exact same thing herself, or pretty close to it, a reasonable facsimile?
Actually, I don't like putting censorship on people.
Yeah.
But in some sense, they got to realize, like I've said to them numerous times, we are not alone online. Everything we say and do and type is there for everybody else to read and hear what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize that sometimes this can come back, especially with all of the bills that they're trying to pass with the censorship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have people that have been trying to incite others to rise up. We've had to take them off of the chat.
Yes.
Just to protect the chat and the program itself, so it doesn't get removed.
Yeah, and honestly, to protect the stupid people who call for those kinds of things openly, because they're going to get themselves into trouble, and I just don't want it to be associated with anything violent or anybody calling for violence. That's not what we're about here at all.
That's
like,
it.
We can agree to disagree in a normal adult conversation, face to face. Why can we not do it in a chat?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've done it for years.
Yeah, and I get a lot of complaints, right? From not a lot, but I get some complaints from people who are complaining about the moderation, complaining about the rules. People have called you a Nazi, whether you're aware of it or not. You've got a Nazi for a moderator. So I don't know, have the rules gone too far, I guess, is the question, or maybe they haven't gone far enough because we're still having problems. Because just this past week, I had one of our longtime loyal viewers saying, gotta pull away, at least for a while, maybe forever, because there are too many, quote, hateful people in the chat. And that's on the Rumble channel still. I don't know what it is exactly that caused that, but that's the message I got.
Well, you've given people more than a chance. You've put in people that we've removed over and over again, and it's came back that I even turned around and had a conversation with you about our hands are tied, because now they know the rules. They try really hard not to break them, but they disrupt the chat at the same time.
So can you tell me what the rules are?
Yes, I can. In the chat, I post it periodically. The rules for the chat: no links in the chat, because some people bring us to bad links. Then there is,
which I violated tonight, but it's my channel, and I'm just trying to provide.
The links that you put up are not going to bring you to a nudity scene,
you know,
or something that's telling you to rise up.
Yeah,
you know, like links you put in are there that you've already reviewed. So we don't mind that.
I'm just sharing links for videos, because if I'm going to use a clip from somebody's video, I want to give them full credit and also provide full context to people if you want to watch the full thing. So you're not just having access to only the clips that I show you. You can watch the thing in its entirety. That's why
let me rephrase that. When we say no links in chat, if somebody says that they have a link for something that is pertinent to something you're discussing, then I'll ask them to post the link just that one time, and I'll allow it.
Yeah.
So that gives them context to it, right?
Yeah.
And then there's no name callings. There's no need for it. We're adults. There's no incitement. Please misspell your foul language. You can say F you, you know, we know what it means. We don't need to have the full word printed out for us. Then there's please be respectful. You know, you're talking with another adult. If you don't like what they say, that's fine. Just move it to a different conversation if you don't want to continue. Agree to disagree. And there's no attacks. We have people that will attack others in the chat. It's happened to even the mods. We know where you live. We know where you are. You know, putting in that fear tactic, calling someone out by name in the chat, attacking them individually. That'll have them a timeout. Those are the rules. Those are the only rules.
So no links, no foul language, and be respectful is the rules that we've been basically running by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're hard for people to understand. The rules in the chat, no links in the chat, no name calling, no incitement, misspell your foul language, be respectful, and no attacks.
And now
that seems to be really hard.
Yeah, because over on Rumble One, we've been trying to keep things exactly as you said, just respectful, so people can engage in constructive conversation, right? Dialogue,
exactly.
Exchanging ideas or debating things in a respectful way. So that's what that is supposed to be for. Now, some of the people who just can't behave, I've directed them over to the Twitch channel. I don't really pay much attention to them at all, because I know that over there, all they do is just insult me and hate on me for the entire broadcast, which is bizarre.
I'll give you an example, Rick.
Yeah.
Look at a couple nights ago, I wasn't on, and I was catching up on the program, and there was somebody that was telling you off in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I don't even need to be there, and they break it. Like, people have a job, they get paid for it, they go to work, they come home, they relax, they leave the job behind. I can't even get a day off, because the minute I take a day off, somebody's disruptive in the chat. Or we have people attacking each other.
And I think everybody owes you guys a huge thank you for what you're doing. It's a tough place to sit. It's a position of real responsibility. You are, you are the language cops in a way, or the thought police, right? So you have a lot of power in there. You have the ability to kick people off and silence them if necessary. And
we try really hard not to get rid of them. We basically will give them a 5-minute timeout. Even Dragon, I'm the first mod on the channel that's doing this, and I didn't even know that I could just remove one comment that a person has said. Dragon brought it to me. You know, like I'm still learning this mod stuff here too, and I've been doing it for years. I was doing it on Zello during the convoy. I was a moderator then, and not on one channel. I was on 15 channels.
Yeah, because I did figure out that on YouTube, because I was moderator on YouTube for another channel back then, and I figured out that maybe there's a way just to take out one comment, just that one comment that somebody wants to take away for whatever. So I looked it up that night, and that's how I said, no, look, Linda, if you scroll down, you can see take off or delete message. So you just take out one message from one person. But yeah, it's just a tweaking, testing, looking into things, pressing button, making it maybe a mistake, and get yourself out of the trouble by, oh, sorry, I did a mistake here.
I've made mistakes too, and I've apologized, but my apology isn't good enough for the chat. I get dished on right, left, and center, so you can't win in any direction.
Yep. And I mean, look, for my part, it's kind of hard because I got to be, say, on my behavior myself, and sometimes my tongue, I cannot, like, it's hard to roll my tongue a few times before saying something, right? Because I can be opinionated most of the time. But well, yeah, I have strong
I'll give a good example. I'll give a good example on that, Ian. For the longest time, I moderated both Rumble 1 and 2. And on Rumble 2, I had long conversations with people like Leo and Nano and all of them that were on Rumble 2. Well, Leo was trying very hard for me to curse at him. He wanted me to tell him F you, whatnot. And I said, no, I won't do it. Because I have to hold myself to a standard. If I want somebody else to do it, I need to do it too.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, actually, Rick, you were bringing out something earlier about the Nazi word, and when we speak like that, at some point in time, and some people in the chat will remember when, for example, during the invasion of Venezuela, I was using strong word, like, for example, Trump is basically being a terrorist right now, doing what he's doing to Venezuela. And some people on the chat were like, okay, are you name calling, Ian? Because now that's what it is. You're name calling. Actually, not really. What I'm doing is actually an observation due to my analysis in politic. You know, it's just geopolitic analysis. It's an observation. I don't call someone, I mean, it's a harsh word, and it's, I would say it's a hard accusation that you do to someone. So you don't come with those big words just for no reason, saying someone's a terrorist just because you want to. It doesn't come like that, or it doesn't work this way. So
yeah, we had that conversation, and I think Linda, you know, put up a red flag on that, and I understand why she would do that. But at the same time, that's an issue that it really depends. How you view that depends on your worldview and your view of the politics surrounding it. Do you believe that the Monroe Doctrine is legally justified? Do you believe that the United States has the right to assert its authority in this hemisphere and say that nobody can be of any kind of a threat to the United States, that they, you know, you have to stay out of our sphere of influence? So no communism. If there's a government that isn't ideologically aligned with the U.S., can they just go in and kidnap the president for whatever reason they say they have for doing it, and just cook up legal justification in U.S. courts, not internationally? This is the thing, and that this comes down to might is right. This is a degradation of the rules-based international order. So if you look at it from the other perspective, you'd say, no, the United States is outside its sovereign territory. The United States is overstepping its authority. This is, in a very real sense, if you view it that way, government overreach. It's U.S. government overreach into an absolute other country, a sovereign country, where they're kidnapping the president of a sovereign nation. Whether you agree, disagree, if you believe what the U.S. is saying about the drug ties and all of that, you can maybe buy into that or not. But
And what happened when you put a puppet government in that country and then say, now they are our best friend, like he said on the other night, right?
Tonight.
And what's happening? I mean, are you dictating or dictate what's going on in that region? So now we're going into the realm of dictatorship.
As it points to the confiscated tanker, which they're keeping in addition to the oil. I'm not even sure what country that tanker was flagged to. It might not even be a Venezuelan tanker. I can't say, but there it is parked in Corpus Christi tonight with the confiscated oil, right? I don't know, but I certainly see that's two points of view on it. I can understand why you would use the word terrorist as part of that discussion, but at the same time, if you're just throwing terrorist around with no justification or not properly aimed, then that could be cause for concern. And who just joined us on the line? Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Rich. It's Maureen.
Maureen, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm well, thanks.
I'm glad you called in. I'm interested to get your thoughts.
I'm gonna turn the volume off on my.
Yeah, you have a delay there. That's a little confusing for you.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. So first of all, I'll let everybody know that I was the one that messaged you. It was me. I know you didn't say my name, and that's respectful, which you always are.
Try to be,
But it was me that messaged you, and I've been watching you since you started, like when COVID was going on. But the problem I have really is I've always been the type that I was never bullied. I've always been. I was never bullied, and I'm not bragging about that. I'm just saying the reason I'm saying that is I was the one in the schoolyard that stuck up for the kids that were being bullied. So when I see this going on in the chat, it brings that back to me, right? It brings back the bullying, what the kids go through, even still, not even adults, you know? And it really bothers me. It bothers me. And I just couldn't watch some of the chat. Like the things that they would say about Ian, you know, what he's gone through and his struggles, and look where he is now. Why can't you?
Right here on Maverick News, it can't get any better.
Exactly.
And I enjoy my life.
And Ian, you have admitted. You've admitted it all. You haven't hidden anything from anybody. And another thing though too, Rick, is you go on about you're all for free speech.
Try to be. Yeah.
I am too. But there's a difference between free speech and hate speech. And what goes on in the chat is hate. That is not free speech.
Now, when you say in the chat, are you talking about our main channel on Rumble One? Do we still have problems in there in your view?
Yeah. Well, tonight, no.
Well, there's always water with a level of pH You know, I mean, water always have a level of pH, so there's always a level of toxicity in every pounds of the world. So we cannot always control everything, but we try.
Yeah, well, we can control whether we want to watch it or not. You know, we have
or
that.
or watch and just not participate in the chat. I choose to ignore.
And that's where I have a hard time, because I'm very vocal, and I'm not allowed to, because then I get put on the naughty sheet for 5 minutes timeout, and I don't like being on a naughty sheet. So if I was going to go in the chat, I would be, yeah, but we're not allowed to. But they're allowed. Well, Linda and Ian, they'll block the comment or whatever right away, but still, the comment has been made and people have already read it.
Yeah, I had a list of rules that we tried for a while. I posted those every night in one way or another, usually at the beginning of the show very briefly, and made them available on a website. But those rules have kind of been pushed aside as I just kind of turned control over to our mods, letting these mods just deal with it. So, because I don't have, I just don't have the time. Also, because I am like the guy in control of the whole channel ultimately, and the buck does stop with me. I don't want to be a dictator, and I don't want to be the guy who has all the power and makes all the decisions. So I've kind of like delegated so that it's a separation of powers, if you will, which is, I think, more democratic than me just arbitrarily making decisions. But again, this has been an experiment. We're at this point in the evolution of things. I think we can always reflect on things and improve, adjust. And then there are, a lot of questions that arise out of this for me. Things like, should the rules be revised? Are they good the way they are? Should we unban some people? Is a ban a lifetime ban? We have 5-minute timeouts, right? I think is what the system provides in Rumble. So how severe are these punishments? And
well, I have it limited to a severity, Rick. If someone incites violence, they're removed permanently.
Okay.
They're not allowed to come back, because we don't condone that. We will not incite violence. We will not sit back and watch violence happen. If someone says a bad word, we'll turn around and we will.
But I say bad words, right? So
yeah, we've had talks.
Yeah, and so the soap comes out, and I get disciplined behind the scenes. So I'm guilty as charged.
We want people to do as we ask, then we should show the same respect back to them and do what we ask them not to do.
Actually, that's not true. Rick only gets scolded by Linda because I also am a swearer. So I'm not going to say Rick is a sinner.
I'm an old farm girl, and yeah, I've got a tongue like a sailor, but you do not hear me say it in chat. Rick has heard me verbally in the backgrounds when we talk on the phone. I have got a really bad mouth.
Yeah, well, I'm more guilty of that than you are by far.
Oh, you don't know some of the words I know, Rick.
I'm learning new ones all the time. People come up with things. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a word. And some of it from the new generation of people out there, but I don't know.
And some of you guys don't have an idea how potty mouth can be Rick sometime on the phone. I can tell you that because we laugh sometimes. We laugh all the time, actually.
Right. But I try not to let it get to me. I just I've learned to pretty much ignore the nasty people because the world is full of them. There's a whole lot of hate out there, and a lot of malicious speech, a lot of malicious behavior that I've endured here. But we're not alone. I just watched Dan Bongino telling people to go F off on his show earlier today. He's under attack too, and he's telling people, "I don't want you." He's just getting rid of people because he doesn't like them, doesn't like what they're saying, so he's just turfing them.
Yeah, we
It's
don't do
everywhere.
that. We
Try not to do
12
that.
minutes
Yeah.
time out. Sometimes we'll just remove we'll just remove what was said. But the biggest no-no in the chat would be incitement. That gets you a permanent ban.
And then the question then is, what constitutes incitement? And sometimes it's just blatantly obvious or self-evident. Other times you could interpret things in particular ways, like, you could say things in a coded way too to incite, right?
Yes, you can.
So
Yeah, that's where I gotta go with my better judgment, or Linda would probably go with her better judgment. That's how we operate normally. But yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard sometimes to make sure that we're on the right place.
So I don't know.
Me and you we're both in back channel. Like we communicate off of the chat, and I'll point out something to him, or he'll point out something to me, and then we'll go back and we'll read it, and we'll decide whether or not should it stay, shouldn't stay. But then there's the most obvious that's automatic, gets removed. But for the better part, we talk amongst each other. Sometimes people will see me in the chat. Ian, I just sent you a PM. That's to discuss something that's going on in the chat. We don't do it on our own.
No, we rely on each other's most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know some people would like to say that people should just be able to do whatever they want, say whatever they want, but you can't have a serious discussion on free speech, as we've learned through this experiment, without talking about limits on free speech. The reason being, you can violate other people's rights, violate other people's right even to free speech by engaging in malicious speech, in not just hate speech, but in the kind of speech that would be directed at just destroying the channel or disrupting the chat so that other people won't come into the chat. You can dominate a chat by just posting and posting and posting. A lot of different techniques that are used to keep people away, right?
Or outright call you a liar when actually you're the one who's right.
So it becomes it becomes a complicated thing, but to keep things on an even keel, to keep things open and available to everyone, and I don't want to use like a safe space zone. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying that we've had many, many experiences, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, with people coming in, being as disruptive as they can be, because they want to put a leash on the channel. They want to prevent people from coming in. They want to discourage other people with other points of view from joining in the chat to have a discussion.
Exactly.
So I know that's a problem here. It's also, and then it also leads to perception issues. For instance, and I'm gonna call the channel out myself, my own channel. Let me ask you this. I don't know who all the people are in the chat, but you ever see any black people on here? No.
Not that I know of.
No. Why do you think that is? Because they don't feel comfortable here. It's not just, it's like anybody other than white people on our channel. This bothers me.
Because people are afraid. Like you had a guest on a couple nights ago, if not a week ago, that wanted his identity hidden.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And he's not white. Rare exception to what we have going on here. And I view it as a problem. I invited a person on when we first started doing Maverick Midnight Matinee, when we did I think it was the very first installment of Maverick Midnight Matinee. We ran the Superman Max Fleischer cartoons, and I went around trying to find someone from like a comic book store or someone who well-versed in pop culture and Superman who could come on to talk with us. I went to a bunch of places. They looked at the channel. Some of them just wouldn't do it because we were too far right. Finally, and even some people that I knew wouldn't come on my channel. A couple of friends of mine wouldn't come on because your audience is too far right. Okay, that's cool. They didn't want to be associated with it. So they're scared away. Finally, we got a guest to come on. He was from, I don't remember which U.S. city. I think it was in Ohio or someplace. Maybe, no, it was in Michigan, Detroit area. He came on. He's black. He was on, I don't know if you remember this, Ian. I think maybe you were even part of it. He was on for maybe half an hour, and then he just disappeared.
Vanished.
And I clued in. It was like, oh, because I was looking in the chat. That's why, because of things being said in the chat. So he left. That's not cool. So, folks, that's what's going on. I get it. That's what goes on in the chat. You guys who are using some of this language, it's not entirely our fault. It's because other people view it the way they view it. But I get that there's this divide and a degree of people feeling comfortable. And there is a problem sometimes in the chat where people will say things like that. So he left. And I felt bad. And then I reached out to him. He wouldn't respond to me. Because why? Because it's my channel. So everything that happens in that chat reflects on me, whether I agree with it or not, simply because I leave it open for people to say what they want to say, pretty much. And certainly in the beginning, people were saying whatever they wanted to say. It was less of a problem in the beginning. But the whole thing reflects on me. And so I have people on the left who won't talk to me. I have people on the right that won't talk to me because they think that I'm too far this way or too far that way. One day I'm a communist to this guy. The next day I'm a fascist to that guy. I can't win because I'm giving people free speech. You want to build a huge channel. You know what you do? You deliver a polarizing unimessage, straight down, one aisle. That's it. I'm like pro-Trump. I'm just going to hammer away on that. I'm going to take all of his supporters and they're going to be my audience. And I'm just going to tell them what they want to hear. Or I can go the other way, or I can go pro-Putin, or I can go this way or that way. You just to line up on all the issues, get all the talking points lined up and repeat them and use all the trigger words. And you can build a huge audience that way. But that's not what we've been doing here. It's reflective in the numbers that we have, because I'm opening it to debate. About the only guy I see online who is sort of successful in navigating this is Piers Morgan, but he brings people on with very polarizing views, and he already had a huge public profile as a media personality, so he's able to build on that and weather the storm that comes with bringing people with polarized views on. He, in turn, shares his views. And, the really large platforms like Mario Nawfal, he'll have sometimes people on with opposing points of view, but pretty much he built his following on X with a very narrow ideological view. He tells people, again, what they want to hear. It creates an echo chamber. You build channels that way.
I got another idea for you. Some guys, and I won't say the names, but in the US, you have some channels that will gamify also on the chat in real time what's going on. It's like, if you like what's Trump doing right now in Cuba, please do ones on the super chat or on the chat, or press 2 if you prefer what was Biden or whatever the thing. So it's like, it's gamifying the thing. It's just to keep you engaged and make you interact into the whole thing, so you're part of the conversation in a certain way. So
so this is the impact, I'm saying, of what is going on in the chat on the channel. It's also a reflection of the political environment we're in today. I don't like it. I hate the politics the way it is today. It is what it is. We have to deal with it. But I can think of only maybe between 4 and 6 times maybe when we've had people who are not white on the program, because I can't attract people to come on because of the way they perceive the channel, rightly or wrongly. People can decide for themselves.
We've had people in the past that have said they're going to call Rick, they're going to tell him what's going on. And we're saying, go ahead. We have screenshots of everything that we do, why we did it. We've highlighted it. And I've backed up everything to what we've done or why we've done it. And I've brought it up with you.
Yeah.
And I've sent you the screenshot.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here tonight and I'm waiting. The phone's not ringing. So all these people that had a complaint, where are you?
Now's your chance. We legitimately want to have a conversation about what we need to do to maybe change or adjust the moderation, adjust the policies, maybe adjust the rules, adjust the severity of penalties, to who's banned for life. Does anybody ever get to come back? I've tried to unban people only to then have them banned again or to cause other problems. I know some people get banned and then they come back and they keep making fake accounts, and that's been going on. I could open the chat again on YouTube, but I'm very reluctant to because the channels are, recovering over time. But if I open the
they
chat,
were getting banned.
Yeah.
Like YouTube was being banned forever because of the chat.
Yeah. So what am I supposed to do? Right. And that's the other thing that goes on is people who engage in that malicious speech are really there to take away the free speech of other people because they're either trying to get the channel banned or they get it, I get a 1 week ban. Now nobody can talk, or they cause problems in the chat because they want to take everybody's voice away. They cause problems because they want to scare other people out of there. So nobody can talk. That's really what goes on. And I can't tell sometimes what's causing it because sometimes you have a lot of people with fake names, fake, handles, if you want to call it that, handles, names, pretending to be on the right when they're really on the left. People who are on the left pretending to be on the right, coming in and they're attacking because I've said something or I've had a guest on that they didn't like. Therefore, I must be that because I spoke to this person and that person is a this. So you must be that too, Rick. So now I don't like you. So now I'm going to attack you. And then they bring their friends in and you can't tell who they are. And they pretend to be on one side or the other while they attack the opposite. Because you've got all these fake actors with fake names doing all these crazy things. You don't know what's real. And that's part of the issue here too. You want free speech, then you should be held accountable and you should make yourself known so that you can be held accountable. But if you're just hiding behind a fake name, like I said the other night, forgive me for the foul language I sort of used talking about it, but you know what I called them? Cowards and you-know-whats, because that's exactly what they are. They hide behind fake names. Then you can say whatever you want. And if you're being monitored, even by the authorities, there's no consequences for what you say, but there are consequences to the channel. There are consequences for me because it reflects on me when you're saying these toxic things, hurting people, fighting with people, spewing garbage in there. On any of these channels, it reflects on me. Why? Because I've tried to give people their free speech. And even as I've, said, okay, I don't want to ban anybody. So all the haters of Rick Walker have to go to the Twitch channel and you can engage in all your hateful rhetoric over there and do all your nasty stuff over there. But over there, we're actually, I'm getting more of people viewing than just in the chat. It's the channel is beginning to build. But I notice that we don't get the new viewers in the chat. It's the same people doing the same nasty things night after night after night. Why? Because I am trying to be so fair. I'm fair to a fault where I let people just engage in this terrible behavior because I do believe in free speech, but that's what they're doing. And there isn't really free speech. It's just malicious, terrible, toxic, rotten behavior. They're a bunch of juvenile delinquents and hiding behind fake names. So what do I do about that? I just ignore them and let them do
I
their
have
thing.
to answer a question in the chat, Rick.
Sure.
Lori Spencer, she was in the chat in Rumble 1 and she asked why she got removed.
Okay.
I'm the one who removed her. And it was because incitement. She had told the Jewish people to get their guns and rise up to protect themselves. That's incitement. She was removed for that reason. She wanted to know why.
Okay,
That's why.
I'm not going to comment. I want other people to comment because Lori and I know each other, and I don't. And again, I don't want to be a authoritarian dictator asshole, and I don't want to be the one to be the sole arbitrator on this. I don't want to. I want to. This is what this discussion is about. Anybody can call in. Lori can call in. Is Lori in the chat? Is that where it came from?
Yes, she
Okay,
is. She said she can't call in because she's in the state.
Sure. Yeah.
But she's on channel 2 right now, and she's not banned here because the incitement didn't happen here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, look, I miss Lori. When she's on the program, she brings,
I like her too.
yeah, and like intelligence and eloquence, and I can't say really honestly enough good things about her in many ways. I don't agree with some of what she says, but who agrees with everybody on everything? Was what she said incitement? I'm not gonna weigh in on it. I not right here, right now. I want more feedback and information, and I want more people to call in and engage in this discussion. And I think maybe we need to expand this out to a second night to give people time to gather their thoughts. This is maybe a preliminary discussion, and then we can maybe get
we also
better.
don't have a lot of people on here from
Right,
Rumble
because
1.
of all the
Some
crap
of them
that happened.
couldn't get in.
Yeah.
So maybe do it again on Rumble 1.
Yeah, when we have the full audience up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that might be better.
Because,
What do you think, Maureen? You've been sitting over there and being quiet, soaking it all up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I just think people need to be nicer to each other because it brings a Tumbler Ridge issue to mind when I see all this hate and I don't mean to bring Tumbler Ridge into this, but yeah, it's people need to be nice to each other. Enough's enough. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Grow up.
The Tumbler Ridge shootings is a story that is directly connected to what we're discussing tonight. It's a difficult story to deal with. There is prejudice. There is bigotry there. There is homophobia. Absolutely. At the same time, I understand why some parents don't want their kids to be exposed to drag queen story time. I as much as Linda, you sent me a message. What was it, yesterday or the day before? You are pretty biased, you said. I'm like, yeah, but really, who isn't? That being said, it's not about whether I'm biased; it's whether I'm fair and try to be balanced. I try to be fair and balanced. Who's just joined us on the line?
Hi, Rick. It's Sharon from Manitoba.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for calling.
Good topic.
Yes.
It's about time you had this topic. It's a good topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. I just want to say that I think what you've been saying in the last 5-10 minutes, Rick, is just bang on, because you seem to be one of the most fair podcasters I've come across, as far as allowing people to speak their minds, to put forward their ideas or argument, more sometimes to a point where I'm thinking, geez, when I hear you talking sometimes to people when they call in, and I'm breathing, taking deep breaths, because I don't have your patience. And I have to applaud. I was saying this earlier in the chat, but I have to applaud Ian and Linda for their moderation, because I think I would be one of the worst moderators on your chat. I'd be saying no soup for you, off, get out. Like
yeah.
So I have to applaud these two people who are volunteering to do this for our benefit. And I think overall, Rick, what I'm getting from you is you're just trying to expand the conversation and ideas and arguments on what's going on every day out there in the real world, and trying to, from time to time, gauge what
and I think everybody owes you guys Oh, sorry, Sharon was speaking. We have a new caller, but if you can just hang on for
Sure.
just a moment, Sharon's going to finish up. Go ahead, Sharon.
No, yeah, I was just going to end it where I appreciate what you've brought up tonight, and I think this is needed. So go ahead, whoever just called in.
Well, bonjour. It's Dave calling. My point of view on the show, in the comments, that sort of thing. First of all, get back to Lori. I think Lori should be on the show. That's my personal view. I think she brings a lot of perspective. Anyway, getting past that. Are you there?
We're here. We're listening.
Okay, cool.
You're live. No swearing allowed, or we'll ban you.
Right. I've changed my whole personality kind of thing on, but at the same time, with free speech, there's too much seriousness on. I know it's a serious matter, but it's not always been treated that way. So, yeah. We gotta accept that.
Was not always treated seriously here on this platform.
Just in general, across the whole spectrum, the whole board. You get you're getting from the left and the right. So to bring it on center, it's a difficult thing. And it's a difficult thing. The pendulum swings. We got to let it swing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Right. And we got to accept. And we're not. I don't know if we're in charge of our own destiny at this point. So, yeah, everybody's point of view matters. Whether it's, I've got some bizarre stories I could share that they just go way off, and for them to come back is. Yeah, I know you've covered that. Like, why are people just freaking out and doing shit that it's not unexplainable kind of thing?
I think it's explainable, but and I don't think it's a conspiracy. Yeah. It's science and psychology. But anyway, let's get back on track with this conversation.
Okay, Rick, you drive the ship, and yeah. I mean. Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things. So go ahead.
So I guess you're in the chat, Dave.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I don't get along. No, I get along with a lot of people. It's just I have a different point of view on a lot of things and I express it in a different way.
So you don't go in the chat because you just
Probably because my memory doesn't allow a lot of it to happen. Passwords and that kind of stuff, in this environment. This is all new to me. So, I take it or leave it.
That's a good point, Dave. There's a lot of people listening, and they don't necessarily engage in the chat, and that's fine too.
Yes.
So right. you're pointing out to me that yes, you do listen. So thank you for that. I'm happy more and more people are listening, and sometimes people choose not to engage or be part of the chat, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Right. And you can encourage people to come into the chat. We all have a good heart, I believe. It's just when it's been painted black, it's a hard thing to wash off or whatever, or to deal with. So it's opening the doors and acceptance, I guess.
It's just so immediate, it's happening, it's current, it's happening in real time. So some people are really, really comfortable in that format, and others may not be. And I'm one of them. I don't at times I prefer to listen. It's just my way of taking in information, and others are stating what they know or contributing, and I find that helpful too. Each person, like you said, is unique, right, Dave?
Right. The tunnel vision is bad. Yeah, so we got to open up the tunnels, some people just can't, and some people refuse to, but there's a way. I'm sure there's a way. That okay, we're having a discussion between two people. There's two views there. We could be talking about a third view, but none of them. They're all based on the same two views, kind of thing. So the person outside of that is not understanding that, or doesn't want to understand it. It's just or somebody's success, for fuck's sakes. Whatever.
You see, Dave, you bring actually a good argument here, and I will tell you something. If you look, or if you do your research in psychology, there's a thing, actually, I don't remember the exact wording for it, but it's when you start to open yourself to other conversation, right? And you start to nuance your point of view, right? Because, for example, I don't like the liberal right now. I'm like Rick. I probably am more of a classic liberal than the liberal of today, right? But sometimes I will say, look, I don't like Carney, but he has a good idea on this thing. Okay, we could probably listen to that idea. I mean, it's not because I want
But how long do you want to get screwed to wait for a good? I mean, this is where we're at, right? We've been patient. We've been fucking patient, and I'm not saying we don't have patience. I'm not saying we run, but you know what I mean. Like how much indecisiveness and everything can we put up with? There's no business out there that's going to put up with this fucking shit.
Right. But the question would be, do you want a system that works and actually just work fine, like a car, or you want something that is perfect? Because you'll never have something perfect.
Yeah. That's
right. Right. I understand that, and I hope that's what people have to understand. But you know what? It can be a hell of a lot better. And right. And you know what? There's the good book. There's the good book that had all the rules. What we've built on that, if you ask me, has been a waste of time and a lot of poking at a lot of fucking shit. There was a rule book in every lands. There was a rule book. They're basically the same.
So what you just said there, based on our rules, is enough to get you banned. Because of the profanity.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, dude.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm excited. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't. Yes.
Let me mention something. Rick starts his program usually at 7:00 at night, as long as there's no disruptions. Okay. And on every second weekend, I have my grandson, my 9-year-old grandson here. Okay. He reads. He's partial autistic. And he hears all of this. And then he goes back to school and he uses those languages that he hears and reads and gets in trouble for it. Now, during the convoy, they had channels where they had kids coming on. And we had people coming on there. And they were doing all kinds of things, newsy, sexuality, whatnot. Those people were being removed from the channel because of the kids. Now, I know I'm not the only person that has a grandkid that is around at the time when the show is on the air.
Yeah. Well, right. Well, it's like the Wild West right now out there in fucking media. Oh, sorry.
It is like the Wild West. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right.
But Rick's program it doesn't strike me as part of being the Wild West, which I don't want to be. So I respect his platform. And I respect what he brings to the table. And he brings a lot of experience to the table and skill sets that I don't have, but I like to learn, I like to listen to hear from others. So that's where I take it.
And
Dave.
whether
That's how
you
I
like
look at
it or not. Yeah.
That's how I look at his platform.
Right. Exactly. Have an open mind. And if you put a little more salt on it if you can't fucking all right. It's up to you. I mean, he's giving you something to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That ain't bullshit. So,
yeah. True.
Anyway.
To me, I mean, when I come on the chat or when I come on the program, it's like I'm not in my apartment right now. I'm in Rick's living room
Right.
right now, and I live under his rules. I mean, I'm a smoker. I could smoke
Exactly.
anytime I
Yeah.
want, but right now I won't. I won't do anything that will disrespect Rick, or as much as I can know how to not disrespect Rick, I will try to keep that respectful, because it's it's a
Right.
privilege to be here. It's a way not only to express myself, but to expand on some ideas, because I love expand ideas and talk
Yeah,
about
let's hear
stuff.
them. Right? Yeah, it's a big world. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're not going to like that part of it over there, but we got to discuss it because, hey, man, it's part of it.
And we have the freedom to not engage with it. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of
Exactly. Sure enough.
news or communicating or in today's world.
Yeah, but you know what? There's so many people medicate. I'm sorry, maybe I'm going out there, but I find there's a lot of medication that people can't deal with their, and it may be warranted. It may, but I have a hard time. I refuse. Okay, I may be a mental case, but at least I know where I'm a mental case, right? And I'm not making it. I'm not putting the medical thing. I'm not. But
No, we know what you mean.
There's excessive of everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a saint either.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I think,
Exactly.
Dave, you hit on something that kind of struck a chord with me too. I know there's times to be attentive and serious, and there's other times where there's
Yeah.
times to laugh, and there
Bring it
have been
out
times,
and-
many times I think on Rick's program where I have chuckled a lot, and I think it just depends on the issue or the topic. But I think I see your point where you're saying people need to lighten up a little bit. It just depends on what the issue is, and I think in this instance what Rick is bringing forward tonight is about something quite important. So,
Right.
as far as,
for
as how
sure.
we look at, as how we communicate and how we talk to each other. And if we were in person, how would we treat each other? I think the same should apply when we're on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my
exactly.
thinking.
Carry yourself exactly. I go out of character. I'm the squirrel and all that kind of shit. AI and anyway. And I called Rick Cyclopedia because he got rants, and I didn't mean no harm in anything, because I've got my own way of interpreting and expressing it, I guess, for some reason. And maybe that is offensive sometimes, but I don't ever mean to be offensive. But I find some people find comfort in it, and some people are right. Just don't understand. Just don't understand whether they don't have whether they got that tunnel vision or not. I don't know.
And we have another
know what I
viewer on
mean?
the line.
Yeah, let's hear 'em.
Who has just joined us?
Her. Laurie, we're going to jump off the bridge or what?
Sorry, who's there?
It's Angie Clowry, Rick.
Angie Clowry. Welcome back.
Yeah, I just find this topic super interesting. And I think it all revolves around you in regards to what your intention is for free speech. And I think it's excellent that you have a couple of moderators that help in that sense, because I think that's so important for people to have, strong people that can speak into your life and speak up and hold you accountable, or at least have a conversation about it.
Yeah, and see, I'm sort of in a strange position. I don't really know what the feuds are in the chat or what's really going on. Even when screenshots are shown to me afterward, I have trouble deciphering the true context of things after the fact. I've tried to just not be involved. Even when people are calling me saying, please unban me, I don't want to touch it for the reasons I've already
Rick.
stated. And yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. It's a diamond you got to cut, and I would say put it in the bin, and every week have a, well, let's look in the trash bin and see what the fuck's going on.
Well, I get
And take
I get
you know what I
feedback
mean?
from the mods, and then I get feedback sometimes from people. I try not to intervene. I think I've thought maybe we need an arbitration process, or if someone is banned, maybe there is it's still light at the end of the
Come
tunnel where
back,
they can
yeah.
come back if somebody looks at it and we can. I just don't know. That's why I'm looking for feedback. And Angie, I know that you and I had a brief conversation about this the other night, so I'm very interested in hearing more from you. Are you still there, Angie?
Well, yeah, I am. Funny enough, my parents watched the last show that we were on there, and they they brought up the fact that you didn't want my point of view on there. So I found it kind of funny in regards to free speech, because I was making a different point and you weren't happy with my point. But I don't know. I think free speech is really to the individual, and it's very hard. I come from a very liberal work environment where a lot of things are allowed and a lot of things aren't, right? So it's very political correct. And I think there's obviously certain boundaries that I think are super important. Like, I would never say the R word, would never say the N word. That's just not how I'm made. There are other people that think it's okay to say those words, whatever. But I think, and I always talk about, when Trump rolled down the golden escalator in 2015, what I found is that political correctness, I didn't realize how politically correct we were all being. Like Europe, United States, Canada, like Canada especially. And I think we've lost honest, transparent communication because of it. And I'm not saying we should be derogatory, and I'm not permitting that at all. But I understand if you have grandkids around, you don't want people swearing. But I'll tell you this, that the more I swear, the more, I shouldn't say the more I swear, but if I'm being my true authentic self, I swear a lot. I'm okay with that. Totally get that other people aren't. And I respect that. And I'm also conscious of, the area I do it in. If I'm with the homeless population, I got a worse, I got a mouth that will make a sailor and a trucker and everyone else blush.
It's just a word.
But I think it's a word. But I also think, it's kind of made me think when you guys were having that conversation is, do we want, Rick, Lori, Ian, other people, sorry, Linda, to intervene and correct that free speech? Do we want the government to correct that free speech for us? There's all of these perspectives, when everyone's voice matters, but at the same time, this is Rick's program. So that's right. Direction. Yeah.
Well, if you're having but if you're having a free speech, it's where is the free speech?
Then you can go, then one can leave and go to a different podcaster or a different platform where anything goes,
where it's acceptable,
right? Would I find that conversation?
You could tailor your the numbers.
Anybody who wanted free speech was allowed on Rumble too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were not banned. They were not removed. They had no timeouts. They could say whatever they wanted, do whatever they wanted.
Oh, we've seen it all.
But then I've just transferred that over to Twitch, so they have that platform. I do nothing in there. I don't do a damn thing. You want to go over there and be as profane as you do, whatever you want. Nobody moderates it. There's some sort of automated moderation system through the platform. I didn't tweak it. I haven't adjusted it. It's just set on default. They just do what you want over there. I don't know that I may intervene at some point. I haven't decided, but so far I haven't banned anybody. They say whatever they want to say. You want total free speech? There it is, still there today. So I haven't banned. Technically, we haven't banned anyone. It's all available right over there.
We still have some that are in Rumble too, and they're in there chiming right now. And we're controllers. We're opinionated. That's all right. they're in Rumble too.
I've created I haven't banned people. I've created different tiers of moderation. And if you want to hang out with people who look at what I'm not even looking in there right now, but if you go on the Twitch channel, you'll see what it deteriorates to. It's not worth being in there. So people don't go there.
That's right.
So that's what you get.
Shoreline. There ain't no fucking shoreline.
That's what you get. So I don't know. But in Rumble,
it's like it would be like me standing up in it.
We have a better quality, I think, and of constructive conversation.
We can, yes,
right.
Yeah.
But even so, Maureen, you know, even so, you still feel that it's still too toxic, right? In Rumble One.
Oh,
not today, but in the past, it just I can't believe. I'm hoping everybody in the chat they're adults, but sometimes I wonder, are some of these?
Well, it's more of a social gathering, right?
It is, because we have a social gathering too. We have a community or a family here, really. That we have, it's true. It is.
So if they're talking about peppers when you're discussing armory, where's the commonality? You know, but at the same time, it's a social. You know, not everybody's on that topic because, I don't like armory.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
people
So
are sharing recipes and things at times, right?
One is free to choose where they want to chat. One is free to choose what they want to look at. One is free to choose what they want to listen to or view. So if someone is not pleased or satisfied with a particular podcast, I don't know what the issue is as far as them choosing, okay, I'm going to not engage. I'm not going to be part of it anymore. I'm not liking what I'm hearing or seeing. Well, we all have freedom of choice. That's how I look at it. I don't mean to sound cold. I'm just saying that where we all have to take responsibility
pull back
for
on
what
the
we
reins
choose.
there a little bit, right?
Well, I think
we can control our horse. We can control our horse.
I think where this is new to everyone, as far as how we talk to each other, quote unquote talk, is still new in a sense, where we want it to, where we want all the no rules in place and let it go. And I think I think we're still trying to work through decorum and just trying to understand. If I want to understand or something better, if I want to learn, I tend to go towards those podcasts or platforms that don't invite a lot of foul language or just points of view that aren't constructive. I think Rick was saying this earlier. Am I going towards something where it's more solution oriented or constructive, or am I leaning towards just causing more upset or upheaval or insult? And I don't want to be a part of that, and I'm free to choose that. That's my point.
Yeah, but you don't come off that way sometimes. Maybe to the other, the extreme on. Well, we'll say you're the extreme for a minute on that, because there's somebody at the other end of that. Whether you're right on center or there's someone that's way out there is going to fucking, going to argue with you or I
think it's part of reading the room. I think it's part of just, like I think Ian was saying earlier, something about, respecting where you live or respecting where your hat is sitting at that moment. So it comes down, for me, it's a basic decency and respect of the other's point of view, the other's position. And there are those that don't seem to have that. And I will just say, okay, well, I don't want to be part of it and won't be part of it. So I don't know. That's basically what I'm saying. Please, someone else. Please, someone else.
We
say
can't
something.
all measure up to the. We can't all measure up to the same bar. It is not in every category. So
yes, that's true too. Yeah,
we have to we have to understand when they reach their bar, that's the bar. So
Yeah.
whether they can, you know what I mean? There's a
Yes.
little bit on, yeah, kind of thing. Like,
I also, if I
I've
can just
tried to
add
reach
that
the
if there's
bar
two
many
different
times,
people,
and
I was just going to say, and the thing that I'm concerned of that when we, I don't mean to say dummy it down, but when we,
right, yeah,
when we
water, yeah,
go
I
in
get you.
when we go in the words and we really protect people's feelings, and that's where I find we don't learn. So for
Yeah.
me,
Right.
so for example, my parents are getting to their 80s. How they talk sometimes is completely not okay. I won't say the N word. My mom talked about a candy when she was little. She says the N word, right? So
Yeah,
there are certain times, and if you don't allow a person to have that conversation, not saying this is the correct venue for
right.
it, but if you can't have those conversations, then you can't bring up the point that go, hey, you know what? This is not okay. And here's the
Right, I
reason
don't have,
why. And I
or you
think
don't
that
have to
that's
comment.
a really, no, you do. Because like, so for example, my mom will put some stuff on Facebook and, you know, it's
Oh, yeah,
not okay in this day and age. So I think that's a concern of mine where we do too much policing. And of course, policing for me and policing for you guys are going to have, you know, completely
a
two
little
different
different,
things.
right?
I don't have an issue with words. I say the word most women hate. I don't have an issue with that.
Mhm.
You know, it just does not mean anything to me, and I'm okay with that. I have lots of people in my
Okay,
world that speak up and say, you know what, your verbiage is a little bit rough at times, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm mindful of that, but I'm absolutely not going to change to make someone feel better. If there's a word or something that offends them, or I'm not, you know, addressing them how they want, absolutely. Like while I'm a conservative girl,
mhm.
you know, if
May
you
not
want me
come
to call you a
across that way.
lampshade, I will call you a lampshade. You know, I have no
Mhm.
issue with addressing people how they want. But my point is that I think if we are too reserved, I think we miss the truly honest conversations that people want to have. And I'll level with you
Exactly.
guys. Over the last little bit, I have more one-on-one conversations with people that are opposition to me and my belief on the large birds in Africa that were in Edgewood. I've had really excellent conversations. I've had really good heart-to-heart because I allow them to speak freely. And I think that's important too. So while I respect everyone's point of view, I also think we need to be able to hear the crap that we don't like so that we can have true and honest conversations.
I agree with you. I
There,
agree with you,
there you
Angie. I
go,
think
Rick.
I
You
think
got to keep up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think
Yeah.
what Angie's referring to some type of verbiage use. I mean, I'm not immune. I have been around that. It's not so much that's not what I'm attracted to. They can use whatever words they like. That doesn't matter to me. It's the point they're making, or is what they're saying to me meaningful, or is it making sense? And am I open to hearing it? And I am open to hearing it. I think that sometimes, not, I wouldn't say this is often or common, but sometimes you will get people who are just in it for the sake of being, you know, shit disturbers. And I, you know, that's pointless to me. But it's no matter how they're saying it, if what they're saying to me is making me stop and think or pause or just reflect on what, you
Exactly.
know,
A
what
different
my thinking is
direction.
versus theirs, then yeah, I agree with you, Angie. I agree with you.
We've got to be able to take a lot of directions because we're all coming from a lot of directions. You know, we got to understand those directions, or else we're just not gonna. Yeah, we're gonna. We get out of my way, man.
Well,
Sorry,
and
you
also
guys have
accept the
your
fact
show.
if
I'm gonna listen for a while.
you come from the city and you move to a
Yeah,
suburb or a rural community, how
done
they
it.
speak there is completely
Yeah,
different. Like
the shoes they
city
wear is
slickers
different.
totally speak different than rural communities. And I think, you know, that's where we
Exactly.
do have to have a lot of grace. Also age.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I can
yeah,
expect my 80-year-old parents to,
yeah,
you know, accept
yeah.
how kids talk today or vice versa.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I agree. Wait.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to 10:30, so let's
Right.
let's go around the horn for final thoughts, and then at the very end, I told Maureen I'm dedicating the end of the program to her tonight because she messaged me concerned and and it made me feel bad because
Oh,
it did because I want everyone to feel welcome as much as I don't want
Well,
to
I feel
be like
welcome,
the,
Rick.
the the super woke. We got to create a safe space for everybody because we want to have robust and sometimes colorful exchanges. Uh, so I want to keep things as open as I can, and I do believe in free speech, but I also believe in limits to it. So in order to have free speech, but I felt bad because you were so disheartened when you sent me that email, Maureen. So I prepared a video for you that I'm going to run at the very end tonight. But let's start with who wants to go first with final thoughts?
I'll go first. I'll
Okay.
go first, Rick, and I'll just say that I really found this show tonight good to listen to and be a part of.
And if I may
will
pause for
pass
just
it
a
on
moment,
to-
you know what, Sharon? I think we should extend this conversation maybe into tomorrow night when we have
Sure.
both platforms up because I think it's important. We need to reflect
Yeah.
on all of this to make the channel the best it can be. But back to you.
Oh, thank you, Rick. I was just going to, I just said that what I said about your openness to asking this question to begin with, and people calling in. I'm so happy to be part of it. That others are participating, and hopefully more will too if they feel comfortable with it. And I will pass it along to the next person who wants to speak. Thank you.
Okay. How about you, Angie? Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just eating a late dinner here because it's only coming up to 7:30.
Time zone.
Yeah, I think this was a great conversation. I think, this is the point, is having the opportunity to listen to others,
Yeah.
people that are not the same beliefs as us, people that don't even live in the same area as us. And that's one thing I've really found valuable, with Rick's program, as well as stuff on TikTok, although TikTok can get a little toxic. But I think it's so amazing to have, the different point of views and just have a space where people can have these conversations. I watched, a couple weeks ago when you had the trans advocate on there. And I think that's a great thing to have where, some people are frustrated and don't understand it. It's so important. We don't understand until something's in our world. We don't understand cancer. We don't understand trans. We don't understand addiction, and unless it hits you in the face. And I think having these conversations that are not just, from the woke right or from the woke left, is super important and valid. And having that opportunity, it's not just about for me to speak up. It's about for me to hear you. It's so much more important.
Yeah, like a big square dance. You go over that side and grab that. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'll get out of here. Sorry, Angie. I was nice listening to all of you anyway. I do on the computer, but I thought I'd call in because it was free speech, and I don't know if I really understand it a whole lot. Everybody's got a point of view, and where their lines are is different than where some other lines are. So, yeah, it's going to be some work to whether we got the patience to listen to each other and just take out what we can take out, and don't be so harboring of resentment or whatever. I know I shouldn't talk. I'm just as bad as any one of us. But yeah, get a hold of your horse there and ride on. Anyway, it's been a good talking to you, and I hope you can work with it, Rick, and because I enjoy the show. You bring a lot of information to my brain, and which I probably missed out, through the years. So yeah, it's good to keep sharp.
Okay, well, come on back tomorrow, and we'll keep baking your brain. Looking forward to
Well, I'll
that.
be here. I'll hang out to the end. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dave.
And Ian too. Yeah, right on.
Okay,
Thank you, Dave.
Who do we have left
Right,
up
thank
there?
you.
We've got Maureen, Ian, and Linda still. Okay.
Who go first between me and Linda?
Well, I think maybe, even though I've dedicated the video to Maureen, I think she should go next. Then we'll come to you, Ian, and then because Linda has, been moderating for quite a while and put so much effort into it, we'll give her the final word on this tonight. Go ahead, Maureen.
So I think the people just need to get along, and the name calling and the bullying, and just going. I keep coming back to bullying because you have to start teaching your children at a young age about bullying. You don't wait until they get into grade school, and it starts when they're little. And it's got to stop. And then
Mom's got to be mums. Dad's got to be dads.
Little, then they bring it into adult, when they're an adult, like they've never been taught. Parents need to be more involved in their kids' lives. My son in high school. My son was very well known. Wouldn't hurt a fly ever. Like Mitchell is, and he was well liked in high school. I think it was grade 9, and I'm getting them up for school in the morning, and he's downstairs, and I'm like, Mitchell, you've got to get going. You're going to be late for school. He goes, Mom, come down here. And I went down. I went, what's going on? He said, there was a girl in high school that really liked him, and he wasn't interested. He had a bounty of $250 on his head for someone to beat him up at school that night.
Yeah.
I
Been
told
there,
him
yeah.
the RCMP came to the house. I couldn't press any charges Mitchell had to do it. So they asked Mitchell, would you like, and the family, we knew them. They were, but I had no idea. I don't know how long Mitchell was keeping this to himself. But anyway, the RCMP came and they spoke with him, and they said, would you like us, you want to press chart? First they said, would you like us just to go up to the family, or do you want to press charges? And Mitchell looked at me, and he could tell the look on my face. Just talk to the parents. So Mitchell said, just talk to the parents. The RCMP went to their house, and the parents had no idea. They had no idea.
Yeah.
And it stopped.
Or it was pushed under the rug. It happens. That happens too. Just because of.
Let me
Anyway,
finish.
sorry.
She hired 2 kids, beat them up after school for $250. So it had what happened in Tumbler Ridge. Yeah, the one that did the shooting. You know what, Mitchell? I'm so glad Mitchell told me, because a lot of kids these days, they keep it to themselves, and they commit suicide, or they do shit like this.
Yeah. They can't deal with it, right?
Yeah,
Because no one's got time to listen to them.
they're
Find
little.
out about it. Or I shouldn't say nobody, but yeah, those who do.
Listen, I don't know who you are, but would you quit? I'm trying to finish my conversation.
Yeah, let's just let Maureen finish up uninterrupted.
God. Anyway, that's my thought, Rick. And it all just brings it back to me about Tumbler Ridge. No, we're burying these kids.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Maureen. And, it's just,
You have to talk
yeah.
to your kids. You have to let your kids know that they can come to you and so he was a chance. Who cares? Who cares? Maybe it's his dad. Like, I'm not blaming his parents. I'm not, but they should have seen, like,
Maybe we need an adult. Sorry, Maureen.
they should.
I hear you. That being said, we have to yeah, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
If you need chaperones to take them to school, we'll get chaperones to take them to school. You know what I mean?
It's
We've got
okay,
enough
Dave.
people that are.
Yeah, let's just let everybody finish up here, and you go ahead, Ian.
Sorry.
Let's just let Ian speak now.
Well, I will be short as always. Guys, you need to stay strong and just look upward, because we're in a kind of weird time. And I'll tell you this, Rick will always take you on the right path if you listen to him, and always stay sharp and have a open mind.
I'll just keep trying. That's all I can do, Ian. And Linda, thank you to both you and Ian for all the work that you put in here every night. I'm pretty relentless in coming on every night. Last night was a rarity. I'm usually on every night, and you guys are here just about every night with me. So I appreciate the dedication, and I'm humbled by the dedication of the whole community, everybody that comes on here regularly every night. I see the same names in the chat. I know that you guys are out there every night, as dedicated as I am. So I appreciate all of that. It's amazing to me, actually, how tightly knit we've become. And you guys really have become family. And I do miss Lori. I really miss Lori. I have to say that too.
Me too.
And we'll see.
She miss us too. I can see her on the chat.
and if I wasn't sitting in this chair, I would probably be banned right along with her. So, I'm pretty sure of that. Especially with the discipline I've received offline from Linda. And with that, Linda, over to you for your thoughts tonight.
Maureen, bless your heart. We're going to try to do better for you. Yes, we all need to start adulting, and people need to show a little bit more respect to each other. Yeah, because that's not being shown.
Thing, even if
it's
it hurts.
Like your heart. Would you do that to your family? If we're all a family, why are you doing it to each other? There's people like Maureen out there. I can name you quite a few. We have people like Colleen Claire. We have Cindy. We have others in the chat that are dealing with things in their life. And they come to this family for support. Show a little heart to them because they need it. This world is full of crap, and we're dealt with it, and we have to deal with it. So it's time we start adulting. Show respect to each other. And there are times when Rick is out there and he is doing his best and he is getting discouraged because there is fools out there that are trying to stop you from getting together and understanding that the world is crap, but we are a family and we are there out there for each other all the time. So with that, I think our host deserved a huge applause, a standing ovation for what he does every night.
Clap,
Nobody
clap,
needs
clap.
to do this every night.
I agree.
And,
I'm on my feet, man.
like me and Ian, we're volunteering to keep everything under control so that people can adultly have conversations and talk about topics that are actually happening to us all right now.
Right.
And everybody is so worried about whether the program should continue or not. Should we shut the channel down? Let's try to shut the channel down tonight, tomorrow, maybe the next day, instead of adulting. Sometimes I feel like I'm dealing with a kindergarten class.
It's true. The question is, what toll does it have on Rick every night to be on air and, you know, scrub about everything that he can see on internet and comes down here at 7? It has a lot of tolls on his life and on his health to a certain
And
degree.
you can't keep up with it. There's more stories out there that you don't hear about because there is too many.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And then he's got a family. He's got aging parents that need attendance.
So
You
we
know,
can
he's
bash
got a
the
life.
Main Street
Yet he
media.
comes here every night to be trashed on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I wanted to just
Maureen, give us a chance. We'll make it better. It will get better. And things will
Maureen.
get normal. Or at least
Yeah,
as
we gotta
close to
tweak it a
normal
bit.
as we can make it.
Rick, there's been more call-ins tonight on this show than you've had in a long time.
Yeah, a lot of people afraid to phone in of late.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because of all of this.
Well, they got a voice. They can voice their voice.
And the people who are the harshest are not calling in tonight because they're all hiding
That's
behind
right.
fake names.
Yep.
And they don't want you to hear their voice.
Well, I hide
Chicken-
behind
chickens.
a fake name, Rick. Well, I
You should-
don't hide behind a fake name, but I use a
Yeah.
fake name because it's, you know, this whole thing is just blow up to me. It's nothing real about it. It's really, it's put your hand in this and believe, you know. Okay, I can see where, it is a protective layer, I guess, if you want to use it that way. Because I don't want my face all over. I don't want I'm trying to protect it. I'm trying to protect what I am. Nobody's gonna, unless I invite them in, is a different thing. But yeah,
Well, I'll tell you,
there's many.
Dave,
you know what I
let me
mean?
ask you this. Would you invite some of the people that have been trying to shut down this program in your home and let them do the same thing to your family?
Exactly.
I'm guessing not.
Well,
and that's what's happening in the chat. These are people
What
that
are
are
you
coming
afraid
in
of?
to screw up a family.
Linda and Maureen, I just want to say, Maureen, I think you're reflecting. You have a pure good heart, and you are verbally saying out loud to all of us, like it has to stop. In some ways, some people who are just part of the chat for no good reason. I think it does affect people, Rick. I think it does, and Linda, I think it does affect their overall well-being. So, you know, I hope. I wish you well, Maureen. I really thank you for coming on the show, and bless you, because and bless all who are here tonight.
Making
And
us aware. Sorry.
I just want to, I'm just hoping that things will become better in many ways, and for all of us, who engage, who are part of platforms and podcasters, and how it does affect people. So Maureen, thank you so much for being part of the show.
And with that, I'm just going to say just a couple of things. First of all, thank you to everybody for calling in. I want you all to call back in tomorrow. I want more people to call back in tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll continue the conversation tomorrow. And Maureen, I really want you to come back tomorrow. I want you to keep coming back, because there is way too much negativity, way too much pessimism, way too much darkness, way too much war. I totally understand why, you know, it's upsetting and stressful for people. It weighs on people psychologically. It weighs on me when I sit in this chair every night. And as much as we disagree with a lot of, you know, people from time to time, I'll tell you this. Some of the people that I've had the most, the deepest contradictions with, the most aggressive interactions with online, people that we don't see eye to eye on things, some of them have become friends, and they phone me. A person phoned me last night. We're actually quite close, and yet I know that there's some things at times we've been, very, very opposed to where we've been at on this very program. I won't use the name, but he phoned me, and we're like brothers. It's like, and it's we are brothers. So, and many people like that, and people that I would not normally associate with at all. Politics makes strange bedfellows. I've made very strange friends because we respect each other enough that we can just put all of it aside and just talk about family when they call, and just personal stuff, and we care for each other. And that is kind of where I've ended up with some people who otherwise I would, I'd be like knives and nuclear bombs on the program with them, like talking about issues, right? But put that aside, and we've become good friends. I had a long conversation last night with somebody who phoned, and then yesterday as well, I received a phone call from somebody who was just upset about some stuff and didn't know who else to phone. But we are a community, a family, and this person just phoned me out of the blue in the middle of the afternoon, crying, upset about what just happened and I was like, okay, they just needed an ear. So I just listened. That's part of what goes on here too. And so I'm grateful for that, because I have all you guys, and Ian, I don't always get it right, but I'm trying like everybody else. And I'm trying to pull people out of those rabbit holes and back up into the light, because there's not truth down there. There just be monsters. Up here, you'll find the light. And Maureen, that's why I made tonight's video to close things off. You won't see it you have to turn the channel back on to see it because of the way the system works. But it's not specifically addressed to you, but I did this today with you in mind, because there's hope.
Your thoughts fall person.
And so with that, I'm going to sign off, and I'll bring you this closing video. We'll continue this tomorrow. We'll try to expand on the conversation and then narrow it tomorrow so that we can specifically address some of the, just to address the chat and the channel and what we really need to do in the end to make this better for everyone.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Maureen, this is for you. Okay, here we go. Beautiful out here today. Look at this sun behind me. Look at that. See there? Spring has sprung, I have to say. And here, check this out. There's the guy, old Cosmo. There he is. He's out walking me, dragging me around the neighborhood. But I had to just share this with you because it is so incredibly gorgeous out here today. The weather has turned, and it is like spring has sprung. Oh yes, it has. I am out here walking, and it's only being warm like this really today. It was a little bit warmer yesterday, but still not comfortable to walk really. But boy, I'll tell you, just look up into these trees. You can't really see it here, but I'm telling you, there are buds on those branches. And still a few of those leaves. Hanging on. They don't want to let go, but they'll be gone soon from last year. And then it all begins again. The cycle, and I love the summers here. I sure do. So all I can say is, wherever you are, even if it's still cold, don't despair. There's hope. It's on full display here in the buds on the branches. Just keep on letting that sunshine in. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.